Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. How's everybody doing out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Another episode of Crew Season. Crusade Nation here deep, man. Hold up, man. Let me see leads in the chat real quick before we get started, man. See if everybody that pulled up. Everybody on Facebook, YouTube. Everybody tapping in from these amazing family streams. We appreciate y'all. It's gonna be a hell of a conversation. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Before we get started, though, as always, applause going just back to back. I forgot I had the loop on. Pardon me. Um, but yeah, man, it's gonna be a hell of a conversation, man. We're gonna discuss, when is it time to let things go. We have a lot of streams about bringing people together, man, and working through things and staying through things, but sometimes it gets to a point, man, where it's like, hey, the 1 + 1 stop equaling 2 in the equation. You know what I'm saying? There's only so much tutoring. There's only so much therapy and self work that can be done in order to save this thing. But we're gonna unpack it. Again, those just my quick thoughts right off the top. But before we get started, let's introduce this amazing panel that we have here this evening. First and foremost, we got the security boss in the building with us this evening. OT in the building with us. D Saida in the building with us. Ricky Williams himself in the building with us. Miss Lucky Marie is in the building with us. And y'all already know D Roman himself is in the building with us this evening, man. Real quick, make sure y'all tap that like button as well and tap the chat. It's gonna be a hell of a conversation. Y'all already know how we give it up, man. Salute to everybody that partook in the sale. The sale has officially closed on the website. So everybody that ordered merch, and there was a lot of y'all, man. I appreciate it. We got all the packages out. And we're gonna be. We got something special coming up for y'all in probably about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Summertime is coming. There's gonna be a lot of people buy pools and things of that nature. So, it's just a little hint. But we don't go too far. We're gonna leave it right there. But it's something special coming for y'all in about 2 weeks. A live show, first week October, still in play. It's gonna be in Houston. So again, y'all put in to take off work tomorrow. Just so you can get that thing early in advance. Just clear that whole first week October out, man. We're gonna announce the date for that real soon. Am I missing anything?
That's it. That's everything.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive right in here, man. We're gonna lay some foundation as we always do. We're gonna be discussing the perfect time to leave, man. When is it time to walk away? Get a lot of questions in the DMs. People like, hey, man, I've been in this situation 40 years, or we've been talking 6 years, or 30 years, or married 3 years, 4 years, 40 years, 30 years. It's just getting to the point now where I don't know. I don't know if it's worth staying no more. I'm thinking about walking away. What's your advice on it? So we're gonna unpack. Hopefully, provide them a bit of clarity on what triggers and not triggers, but what indicators that it's time to walk away. But before we do, we're gonna get started like we always do and lay some foundation. Loyalty is a word I see thrown around a lot, and it's a bunch of different definitions. You ask 10 people, you're liable to get 10 different definitions of it. So I'm very interested in hearing y'all's definition of it. What does loyalty mean to you specifically? And we're gonna start tonight with loyalty. What does loyalty mean to you in the context of a relationship? I had to put some clarity in there.
Oh man, honestly, because I feel like that kind of changes a little bit for me as time goes on. You know what I'm saying? My loyalty would be coming down to trust at the end of the day. Especially when it comes to very important decisions or just situations in general. Um, will you fold, or will you let the other side, sway you or whatever it is? But I would just say, just sure, definitely, it would come down to trust. I say loyalty.
I like it. Miss Saida, loyalty. What does loyalty mean to you in the context of a relationship?
Um, it's a very, very strong, word. And it's hard to explain individually, but I would say kind of like the attachment that you have could be to something or someone, because you can have loyalty to things too. Um, but I will also attach it with trust and respect. I think it goes hand in hand. It depends, kind of like a devotion that you have to something. I don't know. For some reason, that's what comes to my mind.
That's good. I like it. Devotion. That's a strong word as well. Rick, loyalty, man. What does loyalty mean to you in the context of a relationship?
In the context of a relationship, loyalty is moving, knowing that no matter what, you're not gonna move and you're gonna move in the best interest of me. Right. I don't think it really, because trust is something totally different, right? Trust is me knowing you're gonna move a certain way no matter what, right? Loyalty is that understanding that no matter how you go about it, you're gonna do it in my best interest. Right. So that's what loyalty is, right? Moving in it, being not being the negative to my positive. You know what I mean? Being a positive of my positive, moving in my best interest. But I think it's in your best interest too, right? Because I know everybody heard the saying "loyal to a fault." I think that's true too, right? Loyalty should be rewarded, right? So that's what loyalty means to me in a relationship.
I like it. I agree. Miss Luck, loyalty. What does loyalty within the confines of a relationship mean to you?
First thing I thought about was Kendrick. Do y'all know that song? Loyalty. I would say this is why I love Ricky. I agree, but I would say even when you don't want to, you committed to still being loyal. First thing I think about is kids. Kids are they test your loyalty. Sometimes some children could do a lot of things where I've seen they steal from their parents. They do a lot of things that will test it, but their parents still never waver. So I would say it's something when even when you don't want to do it, you're committed to doing it. And on top of that, it has to align with what you truly, I think, the loyalty you have for yourself, because I'm not going to be loyal to anybody aside from how they're loyal to me. So it has to also match up according to me. I think there's certain people in your life you give grace to that may have a further boundary where you'll constantly give them chances and different things like that. But I think in general, loyalty should be subjective.
I agree. I agree. Ronan, loyalty. When we hear that word thrown around a lot, what is first thing that come to your mind when you hear it?
Confidentiality. Loyalty is an action. It's not what you do in that person's presence, but outside of it. How you carry yourself. How you maintain your respect and your word. And the thing is, like it requires you to be a sensible giver. Within those boundaries, you give the best of yourself. If you guys have to part company, you respect each other's boundaries by staying out each other's way.
Well said. SB, loyalty, the confines of a relationship. What does that mean to you?
Loyalty to me is in spite of. This is good enough for me, even though there may be other things that are better, or there may be other places that may fit best or whatever. I am loyal to this, meaning this is good enough for me, and this is it. This is it. No matter what.
No matter what. I like it. I like it. Loyalty to me is a sense of duty. It's responsibility. It's understanding what we signed up for in this thing. Like, we are one in terms of this moving part that we are part of. Both of us are necessary. You watching my six, me watching your six. That don't mean mistakes ain't gonna happen here, there, whatever the mistakes are. But having that person in mind when you're making every decision that you make, even ones that you feel like is you, because in reality, what affects you affects them. When you like understand the gravity of what it is that you signing up for, you start thinking in terms of we instead of me. I think that's what the loyalty piece is. Now we talking in terms of a relationship, but I broaden it a bit. It's the same thing as far as friendship. I'm not gonna let nobody talk bad about my homie while I'm standing right there, and I'm just nodding and Oh, yeah, that's crazy. No. Loyalty is holding him down the same way I would if he was in my presence. Same with your relationship. When you outside moving around, you got to be cognizant of that, man. Perception is everything. You know what I'm saying? Not embarrassing your woman, not embarrassing your man, not letting them get blindsided by nothing. Y'all being on the same page, having hard conversations because y'all know that, it's gonna be easier to get through if we both on the same page rather than them finding out something from somebody else that you could have told them. A lot of that happens within a relationship. But people claim their loyalty. People got loyalty tattoos and everything. They be out here moving wild. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, loyalty is thinking in terms of we instead of me. If I had to summarize it up, and put it in a nice little bow. Okay. Real quick. Hold on. She ain't ready. All right, we're gonna move on to the next line of questioning. Have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have? Look at the nod. Look at the
Hell
nod.
yes.
Hey, put a leaf in the chat if y'all done stayed in a relationship longer than y'all should have. Give me the times too. Give me the length of times in the relationship. But yeah, that is the line of questioning because again we throw around loyalty, man, and ride or die and stay in this situation, see it through, all of these things. But oftentimes that kind of puts us in a position where we're in a relationship longer than we should have. So um, I want to ask y'all, why did you do it? Give me the mindset behind why you stayed. You ain't got to give me too many details, but give me the mindset as far as why you stayed in that situation when goddamn well you should have been gone from it. Look, we're gonna start with you this time.
At first I said no, but then I started thinking. I was of course younger. I stayed in it definitely because of low self-esteem and insecurities. So I did not think that I could get better. I didn't think that anyone else would want me. I definitely believed a lot of the stuff that was said about me in arguments that could have been said to disrespect or make me feel like that. So I started to make excuses. I started to, blame myself a lot in the situations, and then that would allow me to stay. But it's also, I found, even if you find some fault in what you do, that don't mean you have to stay. Just because you forgive them doesn't mean you have to stay with them. But I stayed definitely because of self-esteem and not thinking that I was good enough for nobody better.
Yeah, the honesty. I like it. I like the vulnerability involved in this. But I'm sure we all done been there. I'm reading these numbers: 14 years, 2 years, 12 years, 3 years, 4 years in a relationship that they should have been left. 8 months, 2 years. Yeah. Oh Lord have mercy. Just thinking about it. I'm gonna get to mine in a minute. Go ahead, Rick. Have you stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, and why?
Yes. Because I thought it was my karma. No other reason. I knew what I like. I tell you, I always been an observant person. I'm very observant. You know what I'm saying? And I pay attention. I pay attention to everything, even if I don't say nothing. Right? I just figured it was my karma. Right? I think I did something the right way, but shit, who am I? You know what I mean? So I just thought it was my karma. That's all it was. Wasn't out of loyalty or nothing. I just figured it was God paying me back. So
Damn, I don't think I ever heard that one before. The answer to that question. That's definitely interesting. Here's another question. Do you feel like a lot of men, just in general, stay in a relationship just based on guilt and not even things that they did outside, but I'm talking about within the relationship, just out of guilt?
yeah. I think most men stay in a relationship out of either one or two things: duty or guilt. Duty or guilt. Right? I mean, people don't want to talk about it, but we, like I said, being totally transparent, y'all know how stuff playing y'all head. You know what I'm saying? The biggest enemy you got is yourself. And the things we go through, the things that stick with us, that baggage. That's why I keep telling y'all, that baggage. Right? That baggage, I'm telling you, it'll sink you if you let it. It'll sink you. It'll kill you. Right? Just couldn't let it go. Just couldn't let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough time for me to get into that tonight. It's not enough time, but You know, a bunch of unfortunate circumstances that was not some, and I look at it as all my fault because, like I said, I always know what I'm getting into. I always know what I'm getting into. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell her ain't no excuses, because for real, you know, you try to play stupid, you try to play dumb, but you know. All right, we'll talk about it one day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a conversation. I'm looking forward to that. Saida, have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, and why?
Yes. I stayed for a year and a half, and it was out of sacrifice. I was sacrificing for my kid, thinking that I wanted to give her, my daughter a family, and I believe that that was the right thing to do. But of course, and the most important thing is that because I also have walked you know, out of a relationship before the time when I should have. Like I should have given another person, more time because I've also been on that position as well. But after when I walk out of this relationship where I was being treated really bad, I think everything improved in my life in every single way. So I don't regret, and I know this person till today hasn't changed, not even a bit. So that makes me think like I did the right thing, not just because I gave my daughter stability mentally, physically, emotionally, and a role model of a father who's my father. So I haven't been, around. So that's why I can say that it was the best decision.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. You be surprised how much other stuff start going right when you rid yourself of certain energy, man. That's Lord have mercy. I found that out early on. You rid yourself of certain just toxic people in your life, just other things start going right. The job that you wanted land in your lap, just certain opportunities, just everything. You just move with a little lightness than you used to move with. That's for sure. You be in a situation feel like 1,000 pounds on your shoulders sometimes. So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Oh, have you stayed in a relationship too long, and why?
Yeah, yeah, man, absolutely. Couple times. One was because it was just young, and like Ricky said, out of duty, I didn't want to fail. I felt that I chose this person, and knowing that I was selective already with who I chose, I was like, okay, if I chose this person, then I need to be committed to him. I need to at least run down like a little checklist. Okay, am I doing these things right? Am I communicating effectively? Am I making sure I've exhausted all options before I finally call this quits? So that was like one of them. And then the other situation was the fact that I know I didn't establish the foundation like it should have been. So then after a little bit of you kind of realizing that, trying to go back and reestablish the foundation, but you can't do that. Like what was how you started is how you started. And it's hard to adjust or hard to pivot with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't make just no hard pivot where it's like, yo, this is wrong in a relationship, this is wrong, we need to fix it. But you allowed it to continue for so long, you didn't make the situation worse. So yeah, absolutely.
Damn, yeah, that's real rap right there.
But then like Ricky said, I couldn't blame nobody but myself. But I knew that choosing them, you know what I'm saying? So, you live and you learn.
SB, you stayed in a situation longer than you should have, and why?
This is a hard call for me because let me just tell y'all why. Okay. I was in a situation with my first for about 4 years or so, but I probably should have left the situation earlier, but I could not leave the situation because I cared. So when I did not care anymore, I left the situation. So y'all understand what I'm saying? So it got to the point where I no longer cared about this person like at all. So I was done. So I don't know how I would have left the situation caring. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not sure. I didn't leave caring, but when I decided that I didn't care, I was done. So I don't know how to say, was it
It's called fed up. You got
done? No, you know what? I wasn't even fed up. I didn't care. I literally did not care anymore. It was like a non-thought. I was done. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I didn't care.
Was it a gradual thing, or was it just you woke up one day like, you know what, man, None of this matter right now. I'm out.
I think what happened is, you know, you're in the relationship and you're together. Then he went off to the military, and then I was supposed to follow. But maybe that time of separation or not being there every day, you know what I'm saying, or not being able to put your hands on somebody, you know, like that at 6 weeks of basic training and all that other stuff. Maybe that just like made me realize I don't think I like you.
Like out of sight, out of mind.
Possibly, but when I was ready
Oh,
to go,
that's
I didn't care.
See,
I was
that's
like, peace.
what's the
You know what? You know what
20.
I think is that.
Oh,
Wow,
I'm sorry.
you were young.
Go ahead.
I wanted to
Okay.
say that sometimes we're confusing loyalty with commitment, because I can be loyal until I'm done with the relationship. You're being loyal. I was loyal until the end. So that's loyalty. But I am committed. If I am committing to a husband for life, then I am making that commitment. So I'm supposed to be loyal until then, right? I'm saying until then. But I am not in a marriage, and I am
Right.
committing to this relationship until I feel like this is the right fit for me. So if this is not the right fit for you, you're loyal until that moment. But once you're done, you can walk out of that relationship, and that was your commitment. You were committed until that moment, and then so on, you just walk out.
That's what I was wondering when you all are saying that you should have left early. When you left, did you still care?
nah.
I
Okay.
care about some people that I can't stand, don't talk to. But you know, I mean, you can care to a point where if they passed away, you know,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't call it
but
caring. I was
past
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you
I
care about
wouldn't
that.
call it caring. I'm indifferent. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even call it caring. It's like
I have compassion. Is that a
Right.
better word?
I wish you well, but I don't wish you anything else.
But
You know
why
what I
we
mean?
wishing?
Because that's all I'm gonna do is wish with your
Just
ass. Because I
take
could
care
care
of
less
it.
at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm walking away, hey, I hope you do okay.
You know, I think as I'm older, I look back and think it might have been a time of reflection. You know how you can reflect on all the things that you kind of went through, and you be like, I ain't like that. I ain't like that. And then now you're preparing to like go away and spend the rest of your life. It's like, nah, I've just decided I don't like you at all. You know, that kind of, you know. So, you know.
Yeah, it's wild. Sometimes you got to step outside the box to get a closer look at what's in it.
Mhm.
It's crazy how that shit work when you think about it, but it's the truth. When that person is in your face like that, it kind of clouds things.
Yeah, because they
Because
still doing good things, you know.
exactly.
But when it's like not there, it's like, yeah, you did do that, you know.
You pull out that pros and cons list.
Right. What's the saying they used to say? Something makes the heart grow fonder. What is that?
Absence.
That's a
Absence.
goddamn lie. I think that's a lie, bro. I think that's why I hate when we taking breaks. You taking breaks to break up. You know
Yep.
what I'm
No,
saying?
it's if you let it go, if it's meant to
True
be.
love, you come back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or you got to go take it from whoever ain't treating you right. That's a whole other conversation.
Okay, so y'all help me out. Did I leave when I needed to leave, or did I? Oh, what's the answer to the question?
Only you know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it out there to you though. I mean,
No, only you know that. You know what
when
I'm
I
saying?
left, I didn't care. Is
If you didn't
that
let
the
them,
right
man,
time?
if you didn't,
Then that was the right time.
did you respect them?
Okay.
Did you still respect them? That's the
Oh,
question.
absolutely.
Okay, then
Yeah,
that's
that
what I'm
wasn't the right
saying.
time. Nope, it wasn't the right
That's
time.
what I
then.
said.
If you still respecting them, it wasn't the right time.
You
I
don't
think
need
the
to
right
disrespect
time is when
someone.
you
You don't
know
need to
that
like leave someone and disrespect them.
once you
No,
realize you
not
have no
because
feelings, you should
all the
left.
relation all a relationship really needs is respect of the other person.
What?
No,
Yeah.
why do you have to end things in bad terms when you just
I didn't
realize
say
that
you
you're
did. I didn't say you did. She asked me a
so I'm
question.
confused.
No, I didn't say she did. She asked me a question. I'm giving my opinion. If she still respected them, I think it was still room there for them to work it out. If
Oh
it's
no,
respect there.
it was respect, but no room.
yeah, but see, I think y'all defining respect different. See, Ricky defining respect as like as like a plane of reverence. You said reverence for this person. Y'all got respect as if like, okay, I got respect for a stranger that I walk by on the street, but it's not. You know, like I don't hold them in high esteem. I hold them in reverence. You know what I'm saying? So I think y'all just defining respect different. But in my opinion, man, I think just hearing the little bit, and I know it's nuances, a lot of context missing, but I think you had checked out long before then. You was just looking for an opportunity just to make the situation easy. And when he left, it's like, all right, yeah, I'm gone. I wasn't 100% certain before then,
This is
so I'm
my
thinking
moment.
maybe
She was
about
like, "This is my moment."
75%. 80, but now it's at 110. I'm out, man. I'm gonna catch up
Or
with
if
you
he
guys.
met somebody.
No, not right away. No.
Yeah, I don't know because with
Because if you go
women,
off to the military, that's months. Some women say it's months. Not talk. You can't talk to them every day. So then sometimes it could be a friend that can be giving you encouragement, and you think it's better to leave.
No, that didn't happen.
So
It was just done.
by yourself. Okay. Well,
all right. Well, you got up out of there and met Mr. Boss. That's all that matters.
Well, not actually.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kidding. Eventually, I did.
No, it's all good. Ronan, man, have you stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, and why did you stay?
Yes, 2 years, 1 month, 17 days, 8 hours.
Ronan.
I stayed that long, and I mentally checked out about 1 year and 3 months in there.
We're trying to be Usher.
But when I looked at it, I think about Ricky's answer. It's like, you know, I thought it was my karma, but mainly I was running for myself. And because I felt I did someone wrong, I took advantage of their kindness or how they, you know, treated me. I felt that was my penance at one time. And it's like, you know what? Maybe if I love the idea of this person, they'll come around. But it got progressively worse. And it got to the point where I even got the scars to prove it. So it just got tiring where you're always arguing, when you don't even get a good night's sleep. And then when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're standing over somebody with a screwdriver, you don't know why and how long, you got to go. I said, for your safety and my sanity, this ain't it. Because we're not meant to beat each other. We break up, get back together, break up, get back together. And that's just outright insanity. And then you want to include children into the conversation, and you get in arguments like, hey, a child is not going to help this situation. It's going to make it worse. And anytime you bring a child in here, you want to use it as a weapon, I told that person, I will straight up kill you. So we ain't doing it.
Yeah, you need to get away.
So, but the thing was, like, I know in running for myself interpersonally, I looked at all the ground I covered physically. I missed opportunity to start over properly. I missed, you know, chances to really rebuild things. So when you look at it, it's like you want to put the blame on an individual, but you gave them enough stage time to show their ass. They've shown you they don't respect you. They've shown you they don't appreciate where you're going. They'll say things in an overt and you know, covert type of thing, and it's consistent. They'll put you in situations to where, you know, you start questioning yourself. So everyone loves to sit there and point the finger at somebody, but there's 3 or 4 pointing right back at you. So that's something I had to sit there and realize. And then when they talk about closure, no, I hung up on the phone to that person like, hey, this ain't it. I don't want no part of you, demon. I'm good. That's when I learned about emotional homelessness. It's a real thing.
Yeah, man, you said something powerful. That especially like when you enable, it makes you complicit in whatever's going on. You ain't got to be committing the offense yourself, but when you allow it and then you know better, which most of us do, if we're gonna keep it all the way real. There are a lot of the situations that we should have been left, but we'll still stay there and we'll still try to, you know, make it work and things of that nature, man. So hold on, we have a special guest in the building. Let me go ahead and give them that info. MissTaylor.com has joined us in the building this evening. Welcome. All right, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna let you go before I go. First off, I want you to define loyalty real quick. Like when you hear loyalty in the context of a relationship, what does that mean to you?
So loyalty to me means it just means no matter what, I have your back. Like I'm gonna have your back no matter what happens. And if I can't have your back, then I'm just not gonna say nothing. And sometimes, you know, that puts you in a predicament if that person isn't treating you right. But I think that ultimately in a relationship, I've shown multiple exes loyalty by like, I just ain't dog you. You know what I'm saying? Like I just bowed out gracefully. It went the way that it went. and I just let that be that. I didn't need to drag your name through the mud, whatever. Or I stayed with you because of certain loyalties, regardless of how it affected me. But I feel like when you have loyalty for someone in a relationship, you have their back. So if it doesn't work out, you just kind of separate yourself, but you don't drag them through the mud. And then if you are with them, you stay with them, you know, low key, no matter what. But it's a dangerous game.
Extremely dangerous. And before I ask the next question, man, I'm hearing that the likes is low. Make sure y'all tap that like button when y'all get a chance, man. We appreciate everybody from Crusader Nation being in the building. We got a lot of y'all tapped in on Facebook, a lot of y'all tapped in on YouTube, man. So make sure y'all tap the like button on both sides of the fence. We appreciate everybody for pulling up on us, man. Thank you. Next question to get you caught up.
Mhm.
Have you ever stayed in a relationship longer than you should have? And why did you stay there?
Of course. Of course. Sometimes loyalty, sometimes being just dumb as hell. And that's just what it is. You know, you get to the point where you're smart from being dumb. I mean, a lot of us can say that, can we not? So yeah, I definitely have stayed too long in a relationship. I let a ring and a lifestyle make up for a lot of bad behavior and just unacceptable things. So I definitely, definitely stayed probably 2 years in an engagement, longer than needed to be there. So yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, these numbers, you would have missed the numbers they was throwing around earlier. It was 14 years, 17 years, 6 years, 3 years, 4 years, too long. Up in the chat, man. Salute, tap. See, look, 16 years. Shout out to Melia. Yeah, like it's a lot of time that people waste and knowing that they should be moving around. I'm one of them. I guess it's my turn. Yes, I definitely stayed in a relationship too longer than I should have. You know, our situation was was a little tricky because we had met each other when we were super young, and then we hooked up, and then distance happened for whatever reason, and we kind of separated or whatever, and then we came back around, and circumstances was different, right? She had a child, and we was significantly older than we were, but you know how it is when you see that person again and y'all link up, you still see the person you saw then, but she wasn't that person no more. You know what I'm saying? But in my head, I'm thinking, nah, it's in there somewhere. I just gotta step up and do what I need to do to bring that back out of her because it's still there. Life just kind of might have gotten away, might have put a little, covering over it or whatever. But it's my job to kind of lower that barbed wire fence. So I'm gonna stay in this, even though it's toxic, even though families was beefing with each other and all type of stuff. This long story, but my mindset as far as staying was I still saw her as the person that I first met. And there was a lot of time and a lot of experiences that had passed since then. And that caused me to stay longer than I should have. Until it got to the point where it just blew up and I had no choice but to leave. And to answer the question, when I left, yeah, I still cared about her. I still loved her. Still. But I knew that it would be nothing productive about that relationship if I stayed. We were never going back to who we used to be, and I had to accept that. That was a tough pill to swallow, but it was reality. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do the honors of it. Yeah. So that was an interesting scenario. But yeah, I stayed in that probably about 2 years longer than I should have. 2 years longer. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that was Lord's toxic situation. Thank God for deliverance and meeting my old lady. But yeah, I mean, again, I think I think we all done been there, man, and we stay for a multitude of reasons. That's why I wanted to ask y'all. I heard, a bunch of different. I'm reading the chat. People saying, man, I stayed for the kids. I stayed for this. I stayed for that. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. But don't we gonna unpack these, especially that. We're gonna unpack that a little bit later. But before we do, I want to ask a question. I asked y'all about loyalty earlier, and in this era that we in, it seems like relationships are way more of a revolving door than they used to be. You got people that's in there, they'll be in there for 3-4 months. I'm out. Now I don't like what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? 6-7 months. I'm gone. I don't like what I'm saying. I'm out, man. I'm back to the streets. In comparison to back in the day, people would stay way more willing to stay in and try to, figure it out all the way first before they just got dragged apart out of the relationship by life. Right. So that change is what I want to speak to. Do y'all feel like there's just a lack of loyalty in this era, or are people finally aware of their worth and just moving on, or more aware of their worth than they used to be, and they're just moving on? Do you feel like it's a lack of loyalty, or are people just more aware of their worth today and moving accordingly, in y'all's opinion? And with this one, we're going to start with SB.
Yeah, there is a lack of loyalty, but I happen to think the issue is more selfishness and more access. You cannot have a relationship and be selfish. It's almost impossible. Well, no, you can't. You can't be selfish and have a successful relationship. And then the access of the internet and all the social media and things like that just gives you, abundance of more people to actually be in relationship with. So the loyalty piece is out the door.
I agree. Oh, is it a lack of loyalty, or are people just aware of what my worth is, man? I ain't staying nothing I'm above. What you think?
It's neither. People don't know what the fuck they want. That's the issue. They don't know it all. They don't know themselves. They don't know nothing about nothing. All they know is what looked pretty. They try to attempt something and it failed, not knowing what went wrong. Like, it's just lack of awareness. And on top of that, just the not even just willing to try. Certain situations, people give up. Like as we said, it's selfish. You don't even try to work on improving yourself, the relationship. You don't know what questions to ask. You just think everything is going to be perfect like it was on the first date. You expect, and then the more time you spend with people, they may have some things go on in their life. You don't know how to be there for them. Like, I know a situation where somebody had something tragic happen and they dipped because it was fresh. They didn't know how to handle it, so they just dipped. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so, it's one of those things. So, like I said, lack of awareness, selfishness, like SB said, is just people know what they want. They'll have a good person, and then they get them, and it's like, oh, they too boring, or they get somebody, but then they don't make enough money for them. It's people nitpick at the smallest things, today, and they want some type of perfection and finished product when that's not reality.
Well said. Well, okay, man. Hot today. I see you, boy. My boy awake. You must have got some rest last night. Saida, do you feel like there's just a lack of loyalty in this era, or are people just more aware of their self-worth today than they were back then?
So I can't say that people is, cheating, disrespecting on each other, not attached with each other, which is loyalty for me. They're just, it's lack of commitment. They're not committed. They jump into relationships, not being committed with the person. So if I'm with someone for 2 months and I'm loyal through those 2 months, I'm loyal, but I'm not committed with that person. So I'm just, I'm going to walk out whenever I feel like it. I'm not committed, or they're just not intentional. They're not going out with people intentionally, trying to meet them, like OT said, like willing to get to know the person. And I feel like, in a way, social media has a lot to do with it. People is just replaceable now. You know, people is just using people. It's like replaceable, like phones. You know what? I can have another person, and then you find out that the other person is even worse sometimes. So then, you know, they realize that, oh, I should have stayed with the other person, because I heard that a lot too, in my opinion.
Yeah, people be thinking that grass green on the other side, man. So
Yeah.
they go over there and find out the hard way. And then they try to spin the block.
It's fake grass. The grass be fake.
That'd be artificial turf going on over there. That's the fact. Rick, is it a lack of loyalty in this era, in your opinion, or people done finally became aware of their self-worth? They woke, as the kids say today. Look at me talking like I'm
Woke.
the kids say today.
Woke with their eyes open. You know what I'm saying? It's both. I agree. Like, most people don't know what loyalty is, period. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't have no type of code of conduct amongst themselves, let alone with other people, and aware of their worth. Like, if you knew that a person is, how can you be a great person when you ain't got nobody to share it with? So what you talking about, your self-worth, right? A lonely man is still a lonely man. A woman by herself is still a woman by herself. Right? You can see your value all day, but what difference it make if ain't nobody there to tell you that's what you is?
Mm-hmm.
Stand in the mirror loving yourself, but ain't nobody else willing to love you. Okay, your self-worth, right. Yeah, you know what your price is. It's both of them. That's all I got.
Both of them. Look, is it a lack of loyalty in this era, man, or people just finally done woke up?
You put me after Ricky. It's gonna seem like I'm just repeating it. So I was gonna say people are overpriced, but I think it's both. But I noticed that now when we talk about conversations, loyalty rarely comes up. I think that most people try to meet people and they're trying to get them to conform to what their idea of what the relationship is, instead of trying to really get to know that person and how they do relationships and figure out where to slot them at. And I think that because people are so eager to hop into bed or make things sexual, because sometimes the sexual attraction goes first, I think that people try to make it fit as long as they're sexually attracted. They start telling themselves that red flags, not red flags, all those things, because we don't know how to be by ourselves and actually say, no, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not coming off of it. We're first not loyal to ourselves. So then we go into looking for validation from people who think the same way. They're looking from it for you, or like us as women, when we wear that type of thing on us when we date, then all the men knows exactly what to do and what to say to get just cool enough, because they understand that we move fast as far as attraction and all of that. So I think that loyalty never comes up. I think people keep trying to conform people to what their idea is instead of actually getting to know them and then saying, okay, can I rock with this or not? We don't ask enough questions.
Here's a question. You said, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to misquote you, but you said something to the liking of people kind of fear being alone, which causes them to, I guess, kind of bond with people that they shouldn't bond with. What do you think that fear of being alone stems from, generally?
I think typically people aren't like, usually this is just from what I had to deal with when I found myself in a relationship. I was always around people that validated me. So to just be by myself, I never actually validated myself and figured out what is it about me that I like? What do I enjoy doing? I can't go here because I need somebody to go with me. I was always with people. Even shopping, everything was with people. You like this, so when you're by yourself, you even have to get out of the mindset, let me text this person. This is cute. Validate yourself first. Get to know yourself. And I never done that. So I would say when you do that, you don't understand how to be alone. You're not happy with yourself. And then you realize all these things that I think I'm great at doing, nobody is challenging it. So then when you're going into a relationship, those people are there to challenge it so that you can be shaped into being better if their intentions are good. But if it's not, they're not going to challenge you. So then you get those men that say, oh, I just want to see where this goes. It sounds cool because he's not really challenging you. But when you really start pushing the relationship, you start hearing a lot of shit about yourself he may not like. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why you didn't tell me that months ago? I hear men do the same thing. So that's what I say about being alone. you don't validate yourself. You don't like yourself. And it shows up every time you try to date someone.
Crush that. That might be the best answer to that question I've ever heard. Well said.
I think that comes from the way that you were raised, though. I think it comes with the valid type of validation sometimes that your parents can give you.
No.
Often people get validation from others growing up, and their parents never ask them, "What do you think?" They don't teach them in the proper way in terms of getting them to have their own critical thinking. They just tell them what they should think, how they should do it, and what is acceptable. And a lot of people build their validation based on that. I grew up more in a like, what do you think is right? And then me give an answer and my mom give a judgment of my answer versus just telling me what I should do. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that would eliminate also your answer of saying you stayed in something longer than you should have, because if you always gotten that growing up, then that means when you're in relationships, it would be no such thing staying outside of a self-respect, because this is the standard. So once it starts seeming shifty or there's some red flags, my parents gave me the validation. The truth is, once you get away from your parents, you're in the real world. And just like in school, your parents told you, yeah, that's cute what you got on. If enough people roasted you for wearing Skechers, guess what? It don't matter. It doesn't matter. If you go out in the world and you think I'm the finest person, but you posted that picture and 2 people liked it, and it's been up for 24 hours. So it's like, okay, he said I was pretty. It's a lot of stuff that the world then starts to change. You get what I'm saying? Your mindset with your parents. Parents are gonna tell their kids, you deserve the world. Fathers is telling their daughters that all the time. They get in college, they realize, yeah, no, you're the girl that we call lettuce.
Your father lied.
Right.
You know
But
so,
but when we become adults, there's something in American culture that promotes individuality away from family, whereas in other cultures, it's very acceptable to stay close to family, even living with family, until you branch out on your own. In America, at 18, you're supposed to go out in the world and just know how to do this shit. You just supposed to be able to just know how this works and make decisions and be a responsible adult. So our culture also contributes to that, because you go away from family at an early age, at the age of 18, and you don't have that family that's in your pocket that's saying, like, you know what I mean? That's giving you that validation to your own thoughts and your own, creativity, because you're susceptible to society, which is why I promote homeschooling. You're susceptible to society's perspective on what you think and how you think things should be, and that creates a ceiling on what you think is possible for your thought process. So yeah,
I agree. Hell of a dialogue. Ronan, do you feel like it's a lack of loyalty in this era, or are people just finally awoken to what their worth is, moving like it?
I think there's a extreme lack of loyalty because we don't have a healthy relationship with ourselves. We're not loyal to our standards. We lead with lust instead of actual love. I mean, anything when we're leading with lust, we're running red lights. Don't give a damn. When we actually love somebody, we have love for ourselves. We know what we allow and what we won't. And we have healthy conversations rather than just the self-gratification type of situation. So people like to say they know their worth, but you always find yourself in the clearance bin when you're leading with all wrong things.
You better be careful with that clearance bin clearance rack. I got in trouble for that a while back, man. It went viral.
Clearance bin what?
Clearance rack, man. I had a reference. I had a analogy that I made, and it went viral. And it was on my ass for months about that. Yeah, it was all another conversation, dog. But Miss Kayla, do you feel like it's a lack of loyalty in this era, or do you feel like people just awoken to what their worth is, man, and moving like it out here?
I don't know if it's one or the other. I just think one has more value to most people than the other. People's self-worth or what they think they deserve is often more valuable to them than loyalty. People will forgo loyalty for a check, for freedom, to get out of something, to be cool, to be accepted in a heartbeat, because they feel like it brings more value to their self-worth or to themselves. So I think often people choose their perception of their self-worth over the loyalty to the people that have helped them build any worth at all. So,
And it makes you a hoe.
huh?
Or
What?
niche.
What did you say?
That's what makes you a hoe on a different level. You will whore yourself out for attention and validation.
Mm-hmm.
It happens on social media every day. Yeah.
I got a question. Often now we're seeing, or I'm seeing that there's no real standards that are being set. So how could we evaluate ourselves if we're not setting any standards?
Enjoy your quality time with yourself. Learn about yourself. See what you like about yourself. Like if you spend time with yourself, like as far as like if you're an artist or you like music or things that you like to do, things how you got to teach people. I mean, you got to craft a blueprint of how you want to be treated.
Right. I agree with you. But when you're saying within relationships, I think Trill said, is it that we're knowing our value and moving on?
Mhm.
Or is it just that was one of the things he said. I'm saying we're not setting any standards there. Yeah, I'm going back to what she
It
said.
seems like they're setting standards as they go. They're letting the other person decide what I like, what I don't like. Oh, my friend, they're following a wave. Because everybody wants to be wavy and trendy and this hashtag that. It's like that's what they're chasing. And the minute you actually get into it and your relationship don't match the IG pictures, you now got to figure out something else. So I think people are figuring out what their worth is as they go and what people tell them.
Right. Good
Yeah, I
luck.
think they're getting it from the people that they look up to, and
Yeah.
that's even away from relationship dudes and the street dudes, different people like that, like people that they feel like has some significance or some importance. That's who validating them. That's who setting the standard for what they believe within themselves. Sadly, or that woman that they like, or that man that they like, or that what I'm saying, that person that they look up to, regardless of how toxic. And more times than not, they extremely toxic.
Yeah.
But that's who sets the standard in their mind. So they begin to live up to it until they realize that it's consequences on the back end of that, and they bump their head hard. And then that's when they start to, okay, I'm gonna focus on what I want, what's comfortable for me, and I'm gonna start moving accordingly. But yeah, most people don't set the standard for themselves. Other people do, and that's the problem.
That ain't
Yeah.
nothing but facts.
That's a big problem.
Well, that's how I was promoting people. It's like you gotta learn how to date yourself, learn how to take yourself out. What do you like to do? There's a big difference between being alone and lonely. Because when you're comfortable being alone, you sit and work on yourself and get your thoughts together. Actually plot your course. When you're lonely, you'll take anything that comes around and the consequences that come with it.
But Ronan, it's not even about loneliness because a lot of people like me, I can do the loneliness. I have a good time alone. It's about rejection. It's about if I don't do what this person wants, or if I don't meet what this person feels to accept me, what's going to happen? It's about that. It ain't about being alone. People having a good time alone. They really are. You seen the rates? People's alone.
Well, you have to have a level of discernment, because if that level of acceptance is going to cost you your dignity and things like that, that should let you know, I don't need this person. You're not worth that.
Right.
But if they add value to you, if they challenge you to be better, things, if you actually have a healthy relationship rather than relationship, you'll know the difference.
But Ronan, if this is a requirement to get the great guy, then it will be hard for a woman not to partake in what is considered a dating standard. Then that would be definitely rejection for that woman.
For a high value man.
Exactly.
And la, 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 la. Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
So when we say that they're set it in their standards, or they should set their standards, then I'm wondering now, my next question is what are standards? Because see, I think sometimes people confuse preferences with standards, and I they're totally different for me, but I would like for you all to help me
I
out.
would say it's terms and agreements. That little long message nobody reads. They just check the box to get access.
Right.
Nobody reads it. Tell me, yeah, I'll do it. And
Again, me personally, in my humble opinion, I just think it's about you don't know yourself. At the end of the day, right? Like when people say things like, and they look at it like I lost myself, that's because you don't know who you are. Right? Look, it's not a look. People, this is why I say be just be you all the time, because if you cool with you and you know what you are, you know what you bring. Like if somebody not cool with you, you just able to let them go on by. Like this is me. If you ain't cool with it, I understand. It ain't no hard feelings. This is me. We don't vibe. We don't kick it. It's not even really to me like rejection. It's just like, hey, I'm just not for you.
Ricky, Ricky, if I may, you could know who you are. I don't think you losing yourself means you never knew who you are. Sometimes people are on this loop. You ever had to remind somebody of who you are? You ever had to remind yourself, like, well, got me out here doing all this juggling? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? You have to be reminded. You have to step in. And I think that's where it comes, because you are loyal, like you said, to a fault. Or sometimes you can love somebody beyond their transgressions and the things that they do. Sometimes you start to love somebody more than yourself. That doesn't mean you don't know who you are, but now you're operating and trying to be fulfilled. You're trying to make something work. So if you find yourself in a relationship and that person isn't doing that part, you're not just doing your part, you're also trying to do theirs to make it work. And now you have to remind yourself of who you are. I don't think that means that you never knew.
Oh, I think that's a stretch, because I think that's you lying to yourself.
Where the lie at?
I just think that because like this the thing, right? Let's I'm gonna be totally, like I said earlier, when you're in a relationship and you see something that don't vibe with you, that don't rock with you, something you knew that you wasn't allowing, you do it. You knew at that moment what it was. You knew at that moment that you let it slide. Right? That's a you problem.
But that's a you don't
problem.
know who you are, because it ain't
I-
that much wrong in the world as if
I'm-
you want to allow somebody you know you your kid's father, but do they try you?
At the end of the day, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with your point. I'm saying on the best end of it, right? Again, if you know what you did and what part you play in it, when the crap slide, you know what happened. You know what happened. That's all I'm saying. Right now, we try to put it off on these other things, like I didn't use discernment, or this person they pulled the wool over my eyes. Nah, no, they didn't. You pulled the wool over your old eyes. That's all I'm saying.
That doesn't mean you don't know yourself, though. You can forgo your intuition. That don't mean I don't know who I am. It could be something in my intuition that tell me go right, go left. Just because I go left don't mean I don't know who I am. It just mean I made a bad decision.
Understood. But
I made a bad decision.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I know I made a bad decision.
Exactly.
And oftentimes you know right after you make it.
That's all I'm saying.
But that don't know. But that don't mean I don't know who I am.
I'm not disagreeing with what Lucky said. I agree with what Lucky said, but I'm just making another point.
Yeah, I agree. It's a difference between knowledge and implementation. Like you can be smart as a motherfucker, but if you ain't, applying the information and using it and implementing it, then you might as well be dumb. If we're gonna be honest. Yeah. And the fact is, a lot of us kind of put ourselves in situations knowingly.
Yeah, and too what? And you know what? It is us not really knowing ourselves, because we have some deal breakers. No. Mm-hmm. But if you go back on a deal breaker, that means you really didn't believe it yourself. So that really is a question. You got to figure out, why am I this way? Either you're questioning why you're this way, or you're really not that way. So it is kind of goes back to what Ricky's saying. You're not solid yet. This is how you're supposed to be, but you're not really believing it. And how far will I go to get what I want to do? How far would I go? Am I going to do this?
But is that knowing yourself? If you make a decision that you know is not right, is that not knowing yourself? There's people that often get compelled into other beliefs that really start believing that bullshit and go along with it genuinely.
Compelled.
That to me is not knowing yourself. You really started believing that shit and you really went with that shit, versus someone that made a bad decision. Like, you know what? No. You know what? That wasn't the right decision. That's not me. I feel like that is actually knowing yourself, because something in you told you that doesn't sit right with who you are, knowing that that's outside of character.
Well, why did you do it afterwards?
Why wasn't
it before? Why didn't you stand on it before?
Right. Why would you do it then?
I was going to ask.
Why did he touch the hot stove? I mean, I told him not to.
Because you're a baby. Because you're a baby.
Go ahead, Lucky.
People just don't know sometimes.
I was just gonna ask because what the way you're saying it is like, if I knew myself, I wouldn't even put this expectation here. It's kind of like the people who have faith for $1 million, but they don't even believe in getting $1. So why would you set that expectation so high? If you knew yourself, you would know that.
Yeah,
I know
It's
that
not
I'm
real.
gonna go back on it. Okay, that
Right.
makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, because if we're setting standards, you know, y'all already know there's some things that men as women, there's some things that men can do that we be like, no,
Right.
no, we're just not. And then if you want to go extreme, like sometimes we'll say, and Ricky, you brought this to my attention and I didn't think of it like that. Like I can say that I'm not going to be with the serial killer, but if Mr. Boss were to kill somebody, I have to check the circumstances. He still killed somebody. You get what I'm saying?
But he's
Yeah.
not a serial killer. He just,
That's
one
but
time.
the point is,
Cereal makes obsessive compulsive. I mean, hold on.
We are like,
no, it's not the fact. It's not the fact. That's the extreme. But what I'm saying, I think I said that day was I ain't gonna be with the killer, but I can see it as a serial killer. That's my point. I can see it as a serial killer. No, I'm not gonna be with that. But if he still had to, you know, kill someone, he still killed someone. And Ricky said, well, what if he was trying to save you? And I was like, hey, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm still going, you know what I mean? So now I'm like, that thought that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna obey these laws. I'm like, we just messed up. We just, you know, we didn't obey that law, but we needed to do this for whatever reason. So, you know, it's kind of like that. You got to think extreme sometimes.
Yeah, context matters. Context matters, man. Just real quick, I'm gonna answer real quick, and then we're gonna pay some bills. They starting to add. All right. Is there lack of loyalty in the era, or do people know their worth? Lack of loyalty, because people don't know their worth. If they did know their worth, they wouldn't enter into the situations that they entered into to begin with. Men have, you know what's crazy? Men have intuition as well, man.
Oh, really?
We do.
Oh, really?
We really do. That's
Y'all
how we
say
able
y'all
to come.
do. Y'all say y'all do.
Man. That's how we able to come to our
We do.
decisions about y'all so quickly. But the
Mhm.
difference is that we listen to our intuition more times than y'all. But that's another conversation for another day. What I'm saying is this: is that if you were fully aware of your worth and you wasn't letting other people define it for you, you would have never gotten to that situation to begin with. But that's not what happens. A lot of times we go into situations damaged, and we're looking for this person to validate us. Going back to what Lucky was saying earlier, in terms of, okay, yeah, this is somebody that I admire. This is somebody that I look up to for whatever reason. And he's going to stabilize me, or she's going to stabilize me. So I go into this situation damaged, and then they don't stabilize me. As a matter of fact, they hold up a mirror and show me my insecurities and make me worse because I'm not evolved to the level that I need to be at. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the case for most people. If we're going to be honest, I think most people are not fully aware of their worth until they hit a certain experience level. I ain't gonna even say age, because there's some people that's 40, 50 years old, still don't know their damn worth, still doing the same stuff that they was doing at 20. But it's an experience factor. Once certain experiences happen to you, you reach a point, kind of the way SB was talking about earlier, to whereas I don't give a damn no more. In terms of what other people think in regard to me, or where other people think I should be in life, or who I should be with, or I should be in this man. I don't give a damn. I'm going to go based on what I feel and how my moral code is set up at this point. Because I had to bump my head a million times to set it up, but I finally got it set up. I got my rubric set up. I'm going by my rubric. I don't give a damn what nobody got to say about it. You hit that point at a certain level, and then is when you know yourself. You know what I'm saying? But before then, most people don't. So, you know, how can you be loyal to anything if you moving foundationless?
But where's the line? Because where does the foundation come from? Who validates the foundation? You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's tons of people that know that. There's tons of people, but where do those come from? There's tons of people that I know that have all of the self-confidence in the world. No one can tell them shit. I promise you they're trash. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but they're trash. Okay. But no one can tell them nothing. You know what I'm saying? But we have the Grammys, we have the Emmys, we have the New York Best Times. We have certain things in place to validate people or even tests to validate if you should be a doctor, if you should be a lawyer. We still have things in place to validate people on a certain level of competency. So where's the line between you not caring what the outer, people say and you having self-worth?
I think the results define that line for you. Even it's certain people who don't care, just like you said, and they trash, and I just go about whatever I want. I'm finessing everybody. I'm moving based on my own convenience, and more times than not, them people results are drastically different from somebody who moves based on a moral standing. I'm treating people right because I want to get treated right. It's sort of like the energy that Syed I was speaking to earlier. Turns out I got this new person I got rid of the negativity and my energy shifted. Good things start happening in my life and things of that nature. That's how it goes when you set up morally sound. But when you just finessing people, and we all know some, especially in the streets, niggas finessing niggas left and right, and you like, damn, because you looking at it from the outside, you like, damn, he got money, he got the girls, he got this, he got that. Damn, bro got it all. I ain't got nothing, and I'm moving right. And then you look at that same dude 2 years later. He locked up, 4 baby mamas, dead broke. Karma hit him smack in the chin, you know what I'm saying, because of how he was moving. So I think your results kind of set that line for you. And what you were saying earlier about upbringing is important. Like the reason my morals are the way they are is because of my parents. They said it in me like, nah, this is how you need to be moving. Don't go for this, don't go for that. But more importantly, they explained to me why, and they explained to me what it would lead to if I didn't. And so now that I go out in the world and I'm equipped with that information, now I'm watching and I'm analyzing everybody. And I'm looking at friends who doing what they told me not to do and how they end up. And I'm looking at friends who did what they did tell me to do, or OGs or aunties or whoever. I'm analyzing everything different now because I got that rubric in my head that they gave me. And I'm like, damn, okay, mama said that if she do that, he's going to end up like that. Well, damn, that's why she got 3 kids from 3 different dudes and can't maintain a relationship. Or damn, that's why he, a deadbeat and out here can't keep a job, trying to get paid cash under the table because he got child support chasing him and things like that, because he moved the wrong way. He wasn't moving with that moral base that I was talking about, but I was. And look at my results. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you determine it, man. Tutelage is super important. That's why I tell people when you're raising your kids, be bluntly honest with them. Don't just say do it because I said so. No, explain to them why they should do it. And that right there is going to stick to them different. Because if you just tell them do it because I said so, then that means that they're going to depend on you for validation, just like y'all speaking about earlier. Just because you said so. Then when I get out in that world, I'm going to depend on other people for validation because I don't know the why. I don't know the context. I don't know the breakdown. And the more you know the context of things, the more you can make your decision on your own in other aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. But real quick, man, we're going to pay these bills and then we're going to get to this video, the first video of the night. Crusader Nation, I appreciate y'all pulling up, man. Deep as hell, man, on YouTube and Facebook, man. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap that like button if y'all don't tap the chat, man. It's a hell of a conversation. All right, first and foremost, Marcus in the building. Five-Boy say, what's going on, my people? Let's have a good show tonight. You already know, big dog. I appreciate you. He say, dope transparency from everyone. I appreciate you, big dog. Yeah, man, that first couple segments, man. I like that. There's a lot of substance in that, man. Appreciate it. Elias with the 2 ball. Step outside the box to see what's in there. Bars. That's a fact, man. I had to find that out the hard way. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Appreciate you. Michael with the 10 ball said, great show and great topic. I appreciate it, big dog. Thank you for pulling up on us. Biggin with the 10 ball. SB out here leaving people in basic training. That's messed up. And you talking about me. Appreciate you, Big. Marcus, 2 ball. To the question, I believe it's both. Lack of loyalty and I appreciate you, bro. OG in the building. 20 balls. Joel Santana said it best. It's a thin line between loyalty and stupidity. Stupidity is when you're loyal to the point of betraying yourself. That's a fact. Lord have mercy.
How can Bella stay with him for 10 years before he proposed? The nerve.
The nerve.
On, man.
Only for him to go to jail and sit her down. and then he said, while I'm in jail, I'm about to sit your ass down, so I'm gonna knock you up. So he sat her down while he was in jail, only to get out and be in the streets.
And
My
then
boy,
he had to wait till he had fake teeth. Then I want to settle down with you. When he looked his best, he was out here. That's so messed
She had
up.
low standards, very low
And she
standards.
sat in it for 10 years.
She
She
sat
did.
in it.
Ricky.
Feeling it right
Hey,
now.
hey,
They're still married. They're
Trill.
still
She ain't know
married.
herself. She ain't know herself.
you know,
Surely didn't.
Nah, I knew her from the beginning. She was the type that was gonna have her a baller rapper no matter what. We knew that from the
She
first
was loyal.
day.
She
She was
loyal
loyal.
to that man.
She was
You
loyal.
ain't
Hey.
never heard not of nothing.
She is
To
loyal.
lots of faults. Loyal to lots of faults.
wise man once said, wise man, I think his name was Ricky Williams. He said something to the liking of, I've never seen somebody get dragged without holding on to the rope.
That's right.
That is a glaring example of exactly what he's speaking to. But we can unpack that a little further. Appreciate you, OG, for tapping in with us, big dog. That's love. Smooth himself in the building. My boy. Boy said, love y'all. So I wanted to come on tonight, but I ain't in no condition mentally to do so. God love him, man. Pray for my dog, man. He going through a lot right now, man, but he gonna be back real soon. Real soon. Love, bro. You already know.
Prayers,
Prayers
bro.
up.
Prayers.
Yes, sir.
Nice move.
Marcus too, our great answer, Lucky. Yeah, I agree, man. Lucky cooking tonight, man. What's she on? What's she on tonight? Doing her thing. Marcus, the fireball. I'm with brother Ricky. Appreciate you, big dog. Kev in the building with the 20 ball. My boys Air Horns, man. Shout out to all on the panel. Happy early Mother's Day for the applicable individuals. Appreciate you, Kev. It's love, bro. You already know. All right, man. Let's get into it. We were speaking of loyalty. Ayanla Van Zant had some things to say early in the clip that Miss Saida sent to me. I thought it would be very, very, very relevant to the topic that we was discussing tonight. So I'm gonna play it. Then I want to get y'all take on it. I see eyes rolling. I need y'all to calm down and gather yourselves. We're not gonna disrespect the queen like that. All right, we're gonna play it, man. I'm gonna get y'all take on.
You are never responsible, Jesus, for someone else's misbehavior. Nor are you required to be loyal to people who treat you badly. Because that was a huge one for me. I grew up and ended up in a marriage where 9-year marriage where I was beaten almost every day because I had learned to remain loyal to people who treat me bad.
Woo.
I love that lady.
Loyalty has its costs. Essentially, what she was saying. But I just want to get y'all just take on what she had to say. I think it's definitely in line with what we discussing, man. Loyalty. We spoke about, Rick spoke earlier about guilt, staying in a relationship. I heard we stay in it for the kids. I heard we stay in it for validation. I think, what she said was extremely relevant. What was y'all thoughts when y'all first heard it, man? We're gonna start with Miss Kayla first.
Okay. Similar to what I had said earlier. Sorry. I have been tempted to be intoxicated this evening. Hold on.
Good.
Okay, so I agree with her. I think that the beginning part that she said that you're never responsible for someone's bad behavior. I totally agree with that. There was a room that I was in a mod in on Clubhouse the other day, and it had something to do with about a thing that went viral about a girl who had brought her kids on a date, and then the guy had took her on a date, and then he left her with the check or something crazy, right? And so my whole point was, at the end of the day, integrity is integrity. It doesn't matter what other people do. So in that instance, he could have very well, when they showed up at the date, say, hey, listen, let me talk to you for a second. This isn't going to work for me. I'm going to excuse myself. We can set this up for another time. He didn't need to go and do the whole date and order all the stuff, act like everything was fine, excuse himself to the bathroom, and then ghost her. You know what I'm saying? Your behavior is a representation of you, no matter that she brought her kids on the date, no matter how she acted. I think that your behavior is a representation of your integrity as a person. So I definitely agree with Ayanla on that. As far as the loyalty portion of it, I mean, I think that what she was speaking of just kind of comes from standards, possibly, because I grew up knowing of a interpersonal relationship that was abusive. So in my head, my standards have never allowed even any type of violence to ever occur. You know what I mean? Versus in other people's situations where they may have seen that or may have had experience to that, their mentality to seeing that is different. And so they may have allowed no type of loyalty. I don't know. That second part, I can't really speak to. I don't know. 9 years? Dang. Loyalty? I mean, I don't know about getting my ass beat for no loyalty. I don't think that's included in the let me see the terms. Let me see them terms. I don't think
The terms and conditions, you didn't read them.
I don't think that's in there. I don't think that's
respect.
in there.
Respect
Right?
was broken right there. So
True. But usually other forms of abuse are more likely in those terms than physical abuse. Physical abuse is usually the one that's like, woo, skirt, stop. Mental, emotional abuse is usually sometimes the one that's deemed acceptable. So it's hard for me to speak to that second part, but yeah, I think that covers it.
All right. Ronan, she has some things to say about the costs of loyalty, because loyalty does have costs. This is another thing that I don't want to go I want to resonate. Loyalty has costs. Loyalty is not free.
Hmm.
Let's establish that. So she was speaking to some of those costs. What was your thoughts on what she had to say in the video?
I think we have to admit that a lot of us confuse codependency as loyalty. And some people are loyal to the idea of the person rather than the reality of them. And we make excuses, we make, concessions to things and things that are blatantly obvious. And we start sitting there mentally resting ourselves to the point where, like, when people show you you're just good enough to be around, just to be a tool, that should be sober enough to, like, you know what, I this is not what it's supposed to be. I've lost more of myself living this lie just to be with somebody, and understanding the hard way that the longest distance you can experience is within arm's reach. When you're just basically haunting a house, or you're just there as a utility. So when she said all that, it brought back a lot of memories. But once you take that stand, like, look, I'm not going to sell for anything for less. I got to start learning how to accept compliments. I got to start learning how to receive love actually by starting to give it, because you can't speak a language that's foreign to you. That's the thing that a lot of us have to learn.
Hell of a point. I agree 100%. It's love.
I think that you can only value somebody at the level they value themselves. Kind of like what Kayla is saying, but I would just add a different way that what you will pay for, like the video, is just an overpayment. That's the cost. Because if you overvalue somebody beyond what they value for themselves, now you operating into potential. And yeah, I see this, and they're just saying a little bit of something, and you're filling in the blanks. They're not really doing too much. Now you're starting to compromise things. These things don't seem too bad because it's you overvaluing them. And sometimes we stay in relationships based on what other people think, what they think it is. And I don't want to do this. And oh my gosh, what I look like asking somebody else what their favorite color is. So I think what she's saying is you can't be responsible for the other person, but I think you definitely can be responsible for what you allow to happen in your own life. If you continue to let somebody disrespect you, hit on you, even though you could have been raised like that, but the first time you felt it, you didn't like it. So I think once you decide you don't like something and that person continues to do something that you don't like, you're basically telling them that you're okay with it by way of your action. So it's not their fault, it's your fault. If you don't like it, you're not going to change them. So change yourself.
Accountability. It's a beautiful thing. Miss Saida.
I do agree with the first part, just like Kayla said, and I see that a lot of people kind of agree with it when the video was happening. That you're not responsible for somebody else's misbehavior. Totally agree. Now, for the loyalty part, it is very complicated, but the way I see it is, if you're not loyal to yourself, you can be loyal to someone else. If you're not respectful to yourself or truth to yourself, you can be to others. Just like first dates, that's the first rule. You have to be safe in order to put someone else in a safety, position. So it's very complicated. Sometimes when you are in a abusive relationship, some people don't know what emotional abuse is, or verbal abuse is verbal abuse, right? However, people may think that, oh, that's how the people talk, they use a lot of cursing, or it's not directed to me, they're just using the words, but the tone of voice, all those things, so people kind of normalize it. But when it's directed to me, it's verbal abuse and it's abuse. And then emotional abuse, there's also, I heard lately, financial abuse as well. Some people using other people for other reasons. Now when it gets to the physical part, that's when you say you're done. But then when you're not, mentally right, you go with it. 9 years, like she said, wow, that's a lot. I think that's a lot. I don't i don't know, I can say, I think I believe her when she says it was happening every day. I wish I could say I don't believe her, but it might be because there's people out there. um, she needed help. She never asked for help, because the moment that you ask for help, that's when everything changes. You normalize these things in within yourself, that you think that nobody else cares, that nobody else is going to help you, that everybody thinks it's okay, that you should be there. But when someone else gives you an opinion and be like, hey, no, this is not okay, and that kind of stays within you. So I think it's very hard to say until when you should be loyal to the person. I think it's more like be loyal to yourself and know yourself well, to the point that you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to tolerate and this is what I'm not going to tolerate. Just that.
I think, sorry, that the physical abuse is usually the end. It's
I
not,
agree.
by the time it gets there, they have groomed you so well to deal with that every day for 9 years. They've already taken your emotions. They've already taken your mind. Usually that point is at the end. That's at the end of you physically having a breakdown, or that person accidentally removing you from the planet. You know what I'm saying? So usually by the time it gets there, it's like too far gone, and that person will never ask for help because they've been groomed into the space to deal with that and to think that that is normal. Sad.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Real quick, before you go, I'm gonna play it one more time just to give us a refresher. We can dive back into
You
it.
are never responsible, Jesus, for someone else's misbehavior, nor are you required to be loyal to people who treat you badly. Because that was a huge one for me. I grew up and ended up in a marriage, where 9-year marriage, where I was beaten almost every day, because I had learned to remain loyal to people who treat me badly.
OT?
May I say something real quick before you?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I think I've mentioned before, I was in an abusive relationship, but I didn't have to cheat on him just because I was in the relationship, if that makes sense. Like, you're not required to be loyal to this person. It's something that I just wanted to, leave with my conscious knowing that I did everything possible for myself and for the relationship. Like I told him, go to therapy. I told him I try to help him. I was not giving up too soon. And that was the part of me still being loyal, but it still wasn't to the point where I was not going to tolerate. There were things still that I was thinking this person still, can, kind of get into line. But then it got to a point where I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to tolerate this. And before I even think of disrespecting this person, I am just going to leave it like this. And that's when I decided, but I left that place, not even one tear came out of my eyes. After I left the house, I don't regret. And I know that I did everything possible, everything. So that's when I say, like, that was my loyalty, but I wasn't required from that person. It was just something that I did for myself.
Well said, man. Thank you for that for sure, man. That moral, foundation. That's an example of it right there. Even though I'm getting done wrong, I'm gonna still do everything that I need to do. So that way, when I walk away from this thing, I ain't got no, regrets. I did everything. As we say in sports, I left it all on the field, man. I left it all out there. You know what I'm saying? And it fell how it fell. So yeah, no, that's real talk. OT,
Yeah, I
she
agree
has
with
some things to say, man. What was your thoughts on what she had to say in the video?
thought about this quote, and it's basically you understand and you gain control when you realize that you don't have control. So you have to accept things as they are. You have to roll with the punches. You can do everything in your power to please somebody, to be a certain way, and it don't matter how perfect you are to the T, they can still go another direction. I just recently ran into it was like my cousin's nephew or something like that. But we were just catching up real quick, seeing him out here. Bro said that he was with his chick. They was young, and after they got married, had a baby, and like 6 months later, she just dipped. Came home from work, all that stuff was gone. You know what I'm saying? And like no, like barely keeping in contact with him. Don't want nothing to do with the baby. Just so things like that. You kind of got to deal with it. And before that, there were no signs. Like everything was cool, at least from what I was told. Everything was kind of cool, but then it was just, she just got fed up. So in that situation, like, what do you do in that situation? You know what I'm saying? You can't try to run after them, beg them to come back. Like they literally packed up everything that they had and they walked out. So things like that you just have to accept. And then as far from the loyalty part, yeah, I think some people just stay out of just because of time. Sometimes you with somebody for so long, it's like you don't want to give up on the time you already invested, and it's hard to start over. Or now I have to learn somebody else all over again, which is work. The dating scene already ain't good as it is, or it's just you'll be fresh and new to it, so you'll be vulnerable to people that try to play games. So it's just safer for people to just, for at least it seems, they try to trick themselves, and it's safer to stay in the situation I'm in versus just starting over and finding something new.
Or it's cheaper.
We heard what Steve said. If you went through 5 years of hell, you want to go through 5 more? Mm-mm.
Yeah, I agree. Man. That's hell no. SB, what's your thoughts on what she had to say?
Okay. I agree with her with the first thing she said, that we are responsible for our own behaviors. I agree totally with that. I say that all the time. As women, we can't blame men for the way we behave and vice versa. So I agree with that. Okay. The second thing about the 9 years of abuse every other day, that got me a little bit, I'm a little puzzled by that. And the reasons why is because what was this man doing prior to marriage? What was he just loving, kind? Oh, was he just, I just cannot believe that every other day for 9 years he was abusive, or we experienced DV, but he didn't come into the relationship that way. So I know I'm missing a big part of the story. So that brings me back to, what were you actually being loyal to? Because for me, loyalty also would come with a person that is of like mind with me. We have to be on that same journey. We have to have the same belief system. We have to have that same foundation. Or what am I being loyal to? How can I be loyal to a person that is abusive before I marry him? And it just doesn't make sense to me. I know it could possibly happen, but I'm gonna get married, and then all of a sudden, every other day for 9 years, this person is going to be abusive to me. That doesn't make sense to me.
You ever
But
heard
she
of?
said, if you heard in her words, she said, I was raised and ended up in a marriage. That first couple of words, I was raised.
I mean, a good example of that is Miss Chalet. So she was raised in an environment where the abuse was something that she was expected on how they show love. You don't do this, you don't provoke this man. So sometimes if you are taught that way, I was going to say, have you guys ever heard of trauma? Sometimes people are loyal based on when people cry to them about their trauma, and this is why I'm this way. They kind of feel an obligation because, oh, well, he's been through a lot, I'll just try to make it easier. So you start to lie to yourself. So a lot of the times your loyalty could be to what that person's trauma is, forgetting that they're actually inflicting something on you.
I could have never married a person that beat me, just point blank. And
You probably were raised different.
I can't even imagine somebody being raised to marry somebody that beat the other person. But I don't know everything. So that part really got me kind of like, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden after 9 years, you leave. Okay, why? Why now? Why now? But I don't have the whole story, but abuse is not acceptable. But again, I'm saying this all because somebody asked me a question, and I've been with Mr. Boss almost 30 years. And they asked me a question. It was like, if Mr. Boss all of a sudden picked up a knife and came towards you, stabbed you, what would you do? They said, would you just go get a divorce? I said, no, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't, because Mr. Boss is not abusive. And he hasn't been for 30 years. So all of a sudden something's going on with my husband that made him pick up a knife and come towards me, or he's out of his mind. I am going to figure out what is wrong with my husband. I'm not going to just abandon him.
Shit.
I'm not. And I wouldn't want him to abandon me either. I would not. I would not.
You trying to kill me? He won't be here to tell the story.
Well, that might be something that happens, but I'm saying, but I don't think that people just start doing things. I think they have a history of it, but if they do just start doing there's something wrong.
Who the bleep did I marry? It's a whole network that got people saying I was married to this person.
I don't believe that. I don't, unless there's some kind of mental illness, which what I think would happen. If there's a mental illness, even with me, if I did something and all of a sudden I'm done lost my mind or what have you, and I'm coming out to Mr. Boss with a fork or a knife, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, whatever, I would not expect him to leave me. I would expect him to be loyal to me for the 28 years that I've already been with him. Absolutely. Oh yeah, I would.
Oh,
that much loyalty in the world.
Yeah, remember when
it should be.
It
should be. It should be. It should be.
That's a lot. Go ahead, Ron.
I had a similar situation where I guess I was being tested, and she let it be known, like, I feel like putting my hands on you. I was like, okay, well, you can be the woman I love, or you can be that silly bitch spooning the curb. So what you gonna do? And there's plenty of times where they'll have you someone will put you in situations to where there's violence in the house. Now you have to have that standard in there. Like, look, I love this person, but you have to have some self-esteem. Like, hey, any of this craziness happen, I'm not going to be like, you're sitting there stabbing me like, baby, I still love you. Hey, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I will bounce you off a mattress or something. Hey, call the police, something.
No, I'm not saying definitely get them help. And I'm not even saying stay in the same house with them. You got to be safe. The violence is not, you don't do that. But I'm saying I wouldn't just really go run and divorce my husband and just leave him out there to try to figure it out on his own. I would definitely have to be safe. But it's just so often people I'm out. I mean, like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't spend 30 years with this man.
That ain't just a regular.
If he kill me, I'm dead.
I want to ask SB, like, where's your 45?
I mean, abuse develops over years. It really is not like one day for 20 years they're just amazing, and then just the next day they just beating your ass every day.
That's my point. That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to get to. But we kind of pretend like domestic violence just shows up one day and this person wasn't this way before we got married. We have all these red flags prior. But
there's many. I can tell you there's one where I literally didn't go on another date with him. I pulled up somewhere, and the way that he yelled at the valet guy was so violent. I was just like, oh no, nope, never went on now one more date. I was like, that something's wrong with that.
It's usually verbal, and then the tone.
That's how it starts.
The gestures, the body language. Yeah, but she was also raised by her mother was a drunk, and she had her in the back of a taxi. So I don't think we can just guess who her father was. And the fathers are the teachers that teach you how to be able to cultivate healthy relationships. Without that type of father, you're out here making bad decisions. Good decisions is something that's taught.
Yeah, man. I might not be loyal after all.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that we don't innately know right from wrong?
Yeah.
I'm saying good decisions, but I think you have a conscience, you have an instinct, but typically good decisions is something that's taught.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why I was saying that she didn't ask for help on time. You know, like she staying 9 years in that relationship is way too much, to the point that I think that she was wrong. Obviously, she's wrong. I'm not saying that what he's doing, I'm not blaming her. I am putting some accountability over her shoulders simply because I put accountability over my shoulders being in that relationship. You know, I knew that, okay, I'm going to stay until this time. But deep inside, I was like, I am staying here for my daughter. I am, you know, going through this. I knew them well that I didn't like certain things, the way he talked to me, the things that he said, it was not right. I knew it deep inside. I knew it. I was just not telling anyone. I wasn't asking for help.
No.
You know, I wasn't.
Or how about this? Or how about this? I'm fighting him and he winning.
Fighting, like physically fighting.
Mm-hmm. If she actually indeed grew up in it, if she grew up in it, it was in her too.
I'm gonna tell you one time.
Are we saying like she's?
I mean, it's
If
possible.
we're saying she's responsible for her own abuse, she's responsible for allowing it.
But
No,
people
what I'm
say that all the
saying-
time, like women from New York and men from New York, they talk to each other quite violent, right? So sometimes that's just normal to that culture of people in that community to put hands on each other, like, oh, you came in late, smack him upside the head, and they go and like, no, I'm for real. Smack him upside the head, like, you know, you're supposed to be in this house at a certain, and it's a natural part of their culture.
The way my backhand set up.
No, I'm telling you, when going to
agree.
HBCU, I met Black people from so many different places, and there's so many different ideologies of how things should be.
There's actually some women who love to fight.
What you think, Rick?
It's a form of love. If you love me, you will hit me.
I think again. I think again.
Only my mama, not you.
On this matter, I think what people do, we fail to do what most people fail to do, and that's consider the circumstances. Consider the circumstances, right? Could we say she had toxic loyalty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
yes, you're loyal to the wrong thing.
Right.
We're meant to let go. The attachment style. Which one is that?
Right. Again, loyalty is supposed to benefit both parties at hand, right? I'm loyal to you because you loyal to me, correct? Right. So again, but I think that's an extreme case because I would never beat my wife.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I think if you get to the point where you want to hit your mate, it's time for you to get the hell out of there. Don't be stupid. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about on a smaller scale, you know, the everyday stuff to where your loyalty's tested. No one ever wants to put in the circumstance. No one ever wants to evaluate the circumstance. Right? Like some things happen for a reason. Now, how you deal with them is how you deal with them, right? But things happen for a reason. And a lot of times people want to take themselves out of it and say, you know, because this person took it, you know what I'm saying, that the other person should be absolved of the reason why things happen that way. Right? And what we got to learn to understand in these relationships is, if something gone bad, neither one of y'all right. I'm just being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If something going bad, neither one of y'all right. Right. But as far as what she's saying, like, you can be, I honestly believe that if it doesn't benefit you at the end of the day, you need to move around. If you give in more than you getting, you need to move around. Plain and simple. I mean, and again, that's all about perception. You know what I mean? It's all about perception, how I value this person, how this person value me, how I see the value in them and the value in myself, right? But at the end of the day, there's no point in being loyal to somebody that's not going to be loyal to you.
Right.
And what's the definition of loyalty that y'all have between each other? Right? My loyal might not be your loyal. Right? So it's all about understanding and, you know, coming to a common ground and saying, hey, this is what we will and expect. But again, you should know that already because that's what y'all talked about before y'all even linked up, right? But
do you think, Ricky, sometimes we represent loyalty in a way where we set ourselves up? Like just simply saying, like, I'm loyal to a fault, like no matter what, like I think loyalty is you stick beside them, then they start doing all kind of to you. And they looking for that same loyalty you said you was. You kind of set yourself up instead of just saying, I'm loyal under these type of conditions, because it's all conditional. Love is conditional. We take it back, then I do it. So do you think we kind of set ourselves up?
I'm gonna be honest with you, look, this is just me and everybody. You ain't got to believe what I believe, but I think it's just people. It's people's nature to test each other. That's the nature of people. You know what I'm saying? Most people, not all. Some people, they what they is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they tell you what they is, and that's what they give to you. But most people gonna try to test you. It's just the nature of people. And I don't take it personal, right? Because like I said, as long as I stand 10 toes, what you try don't matter. Right? Now what you say, if I'm picking up what you're saying, Lucky, like by putting that out, do that pique something in somebody's interest to be like, hey, maybe I can do this and that? Yeah.
Or just when they do it, what you mean? We after all we've been through, you gonna leave just because I slept with Keisha? What you mean? All of this is gone because but you said you was loyal. I stuck by you.
But again, your loyalty is based on your standards. Y'all should have the same standards.
What's y'all understanding of loyalty between each other?
Y'all should have the same standards prior to admitting that you're loyal.
I think it's okay to have separate standards. Like, and hear me out. The reason why I'm saying, I think that if I'm with someone, right, or let's say you with somebody, you ever been in a conversation where they're like, well, if it was me, I wouldn't have got mad at it. But you're tripping. Maybe that's because that's to you, that's a problem, but the other person is not. So therefore, I think that you should love people based on the capacity that they see love, not how you choose to love them.
Yeah, but that capacity that they working with, it ain't working for me. So
that's not not fair to me. But that's not fair to me.
Right. Right. I'm like,
I'm sure I'm doing a lot of stuff that I wouldn't want to do, but I'm doing it because it makes you feel validated. It makes you feel secure. No. I'm sure it's a lot of times where she wish she could be going to sleep, but I'm giving you a whole lot of whatever because I understand it's important to the relationship and it's something you need.
Okay, so that could be
right.
But is that a standard though? Is that a standard or is that a duty
that I'm choosing to meet? To me, I wouldn't trip about it. But this person cares about it. This is a standard to them. So if I constantly want to make them happy, I'm going to constantly do what it takes to meet their standard as well. They should do the same.
But loyalty is not tripping about it or not tripping about it. I still did it. Okay.
That's the
so I'm loyal. Whether I was complaining about it or not, I still did it.
That's the point.
That's me being loyal.
You would want them to do the same. They may not agree with whatever your standard is. They may not agree that every time Kayla get out the car, she better not ever in life touch a door. I don't care if it's an errand, it's a whatever. To them, it's like, girl, it's fucking raining. You better get your ass out the car. But to you, that's my standard. So therefore,
I hear you, Luck. I hear you, Luck. I hear you, Luck. I hear what you're saying, Luck. But like I said, in the same case, in the same tone, what's my understanding of that loyalty? Right? Because if that's something we discuss, it's all about understanding. Like I said, we got to understand each other. That's the whole problem. People, you don't understand. I ain't gonna say y'all, but people in general don't take the time out to understand their mate. You know what I mean? If that, as I said, that means something not only to her but to me. You see what I'm saying? So if that's something that we both have as a like you said, a standard or understanding of the loyalty we have between each other, it shouldn't be a problem, right? That the problem is that you with somebody whose standards not that in the first place.
It almost sounds like sometimes that we don't want to, we're creating our mate or someone that we actually hate. When I say loyal to my husband, it's because I love and care for him and want to be with him and like him. But if he's not demonstrating those things that I can love and like and be with, then I can't be loyal to him. So me being loyal at fault doesn't even apply. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, okay.
But that's because you know your husband and never, you see, it's the understanding between, that's all I'm saying. It's the understanding
I agree.
between each other.
Is loyalty not wrapped around time vested? Because people that I look at, like family, I'm gonna be loyal to family no matter what. Like there's family I don't like, but I ain't gonna say nothing if something goes down. I have no comment. But when I look at friends and relationships, or look at friends in general, I think about friends that how many years have they been down and doing me right versus how much they've been fucking up. I think, okay, we've been friends for 15 years. They've been down. They had my back. They come up on this instance, You know what I'm saying? I mean, the years vested of them being loyal is out without stands like this one transgression. So I think that's how some people look at it.
Yeah,
Depending on how big that transgression is.
It's that in that in circumstance. In
It's right.
circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think people use time to stay in situations longer than they should. Like how much time does time buy you?
Right.
Or how much
Waste of time.
yeah, like
How much time does loyalty buy you?
It just
like
depends on the
how much
transgression,
of the
like how
leash
how
does
big
that,
it
does that
is.
tenure by you? Because again, even going back to what y'all was talking about earlier, where SB said, if my man put out a knife on me, I'm gonna stay. I don't give a damn. It could be
No, I
50
didn't say,
years.
no, I said I wouldn't get divorced.
Right,
I didn't.
you wouldn't get divorced.
I'm gonna go to safety, but I'm not gonna rarely go. I'm gonna get divorced. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, no, we get
but
divorced.
again, even that, I don't give a
What?
damn if
No,
I'm married
no, SB, we're getting
50 years.
divorced.
It could be 60 years of marriage.
What? You
If
put a
that
knife on
happens,
me?
I'm out. It's as simple as
You
that.
held me
Like,
at
you ain't
knife
nothing to think
point.
about.
Absolutely not.
So you're
That's a
saying
30.
60
That's a
years
30
of
year.
marriage is an old person. So that
Are you
person
on
is probably
drugs? Are you senile? Like, what is your defense?
But
Okay?
that's the thing. If that person is on drugs, that person is not something that they're doing because it's something creating or causing them
Okay,
to be
then that's
violent. It's
different,
not
though.
them. So
That's
I
different.
think
If
I
they have an
understand her point.
insanity defense or
No,
intoxicated
wait.
defense, I get that.
it.
Not
You're
intoxicated.
just questioning. You're just questioning. You'll have to find your reason. She's saying, "I'll find your reason why that person did that before." Just saying, you know what? I'm just going to
Gives a
leave.
damn. You trying to kill me?
30 years.
A knife?
You see,
I don't
y'all
need to know
missing
the
it.
reason.
Listen, y'all are missing it because listen. 28 years. Me and my husband are one. We're one. 28-year investment. Come on, we're one. So if
He
some
tried
reason
to kill you, lady.
But that
I
knife
don't-
could kill
look.
you in 2 seconds.
I could try to kill him. Listen, how many? Y'all, wait a minute. Hold on. Y'all know plenty of your girlfriends that tried to run their boyfriends over with the car for less. You know it. You know it. It's all over TikTok. No, listen. What
I
I'm
know
saying
not
is,
of what you speak.
what my point I'm trying to make
Nobody
is,
on the panel.
It's never
right.
Never nobody on
Nobody on the
the
panel.
panel. bro.
My point I'm
Never.
trying to make is I've been with him for so long that we move in such a sync. If something happened to him that way, I would definitely go to safety. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not a fool, but I'm not going to take 28 years of investment that I've shared everything with this man and be like, oh, I'm out. What am I out for? Where am I going? The piece of paper that I signed for a divorce, it's not going to take that 28 years away.
We hear you. I was clowning. I get
It's
what you-
not. But
I
some
get
people
it.
really say that, though. They really be like, I'm getting a divorce. I'm like, for what? This is 28 years. I'm not.
I mean, is he willing to go to therapy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
He has to do it. You know.
Okay, well, then we
That's
can
the point,
discuss.
yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, he
my
don't want to
thing
be
is this.
crazy either.
My thing is this, man, is that how I'm wired. See, again, it goes back to standards, what we was talking about, right? I feel like once somebody shows me what they're capable of, I believe them with all my heart. Like I don't need convincing. I don't need to know the reason. All I know was you had a moment in which you felt like it would be okay if I wasn't here. And that right there alone is gonna make me get the fuck out of Dodge. And doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop loving you. I mean, I love you, but it's gonna be from states over. You know what I'm saying? But we're not gonna be.
Drea, we all have that
You
though.
go get help, and the next time they spaz, you sleep.
Exactly.
Nah,
That
I can't
was
sleep
it.
next to you after that. Because what if you have a lapse in the middle of the
But
night?
guess what? If that's the case, that's probably how I was supposed to go. But guess what? We
I'm
all
not
have
letting you do
that
that, no.
potential. We all have the potential to do that, though. I have a potential to pick up the gun and shoot. I do. We all do. Why y'all pretending that y'all can't be evil? Are y'all really pretending that y'all can't?
No, violent evil, never.
But no, they see it coming though. Is the I've been giving red
There's
flags.
so many times where I've had the opportunity to assault, rob, hurt, and I just can't do it. That's not me.
Okay, well, I
mean,
can.
I
It's
ain't gonna say I
confession.
can't do it, but what I'm saying is my woman.
Whoa. Hello, Anthony. Hello.
All I'm saying is come
my
back in
woman,
28
I'm saying,
years.
that's out
Come
the
back
way,
in 28 years and let's have this conversation.
I'm gonna tell y'all what I will do. What's the effect on this roadcast that I can give us a fake time lapse? Because I don't give a damn if it's 60 years. If I see that, I'm gone. It's just like friendships. right? I could be done grew up with somebody from knee high. I'm talking about we done been through everything, sandlot, fight. We done got our first ass together. We done been shootouts and fight, all type of stuff. But the minute, oh shit, wait,
Yeah, you there? You still there? You still there?
Okay, yeah. Damn, I don't know. YouTube.
I know what happened
for a second.
And I'm gonna say it again. It could be a homie. We could have been together for 5 years. But if it comes to a situation where he set me up to get robbed, or he pull a gun on me, or he do anything like that, the friendship is over. I don't care why. I don't care. Oh, bro, I was on hard times. I was, especially how solid and real that I done kept it. And you gonna do this? I can never see you the same again. That's how I'm wired. And it could be 50 years of consistency. But from this point, every time I look at you, that's what I'm going to think about. And I can't be married to somebody that I look at like that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
but
some people
you wouldn't be that way with your wife, though.
I can tell you, I have a 9-year friendship. We haven't spoke since that day. That was 6 years ago.
Be friends with the girl, but if she sleeps with my man, it don't matter how many times you have my back. It don't matter.
Wait, you said what now?
I'm saying earlier when you were saying, I'm sorry, Ronan, but I was saying earlier when you were saying it depends on the years we've been friends. I was thinking, but if she slept with your man or something that was a violation, it don't matter how real she kept it. That just maximizes the hurt and the betrayal.
Yeah,
it don't say nothing different. I get what everybody's saying, but yeah,
nah, you're right, Lucky. We would never be cool, and if you cool with me again, you dumb, because I'm not cool with you, no matter how cool I'm acting.
You know what I'm thinking about too? That might make it worse for me if it's my wife. Now that I think about it.
Well, that scenario you gave was not good. You're right, because you said set up and all of that. You're right.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's different though. That's not what I'm talking about.
Because again, like this.
But what if the cops told them they could go to jail for 25 years?
Yeah, but like
and they gave your name.
Can happen. Like we could be watching the game and get in an argument and a pistol come out. What I'm saying is this: is that once that happens, I can't see you the same no more. It don't matter what we done been through, and if it's my wife, it's gonna be worse because there's a different level of investment that I have in you.
The game
than I have with them. Like this done been my homie, sure. We done did our shit together, whatever. But I wasn't invested.
Her level
in
of
him
loyalty
like I am in you.
Higher than your homie, right? Correct?
Huh?
Her level of loyalty should be higher than you.
Exactly. And once I see flaw, once I see a chink in that, because again, disagreement's gonna happen, argument's gonna happen. But it was a moment that came where you was okay with me not being here on this earth no longer. I can't look past that. I don't care how long we've been together.
Yeah, that's true.
Cause you be lucky if I ain't gonna say it.
Hey, don't say that.
I feel you. Ronna, stop raising your hand. Just go.
I'm sick of it. 10th grader? Shit.
But my thing is like the whole time in service thing means nothing. Because I've had a family member point a pistol at the back of my head over something stupid. So it doesn't matter if you're raised or even closer. Once you show something like that, it doesn't matter how long you're there. The whole thing is different. I'm going to look at you different. I can't even be around you the same way. So there's certain family members I don't even deal with half the time because of certain things, or even over money. You lend somebody over $3,500, and then it takes them like a year and a half just to give you $1,000. Cool.
So what if it's your child though? We're all giving.
What if it's family?
Yeah, if it's your kid
or your cousin or your brother.
Applies. Same rule applies.
Everybody can get cut off. Nobody's off limits. No, it's about having standards.
I was brought in this world alone. I'm gonna die alone.
Yeah.
Right. But while I'm here, I need my quality of life to be at a certain echelon. So anybody that gets in the way of that, and I mean anybody, nobody's exempt.
That's real.
They will be removed. I don't give a damn. Good luck to, and again, it's not saying that I don't love you. It's not saying that I don't wish you well and all of that, but it's going to be from a distance, a healthy distance. But
go ahead and say it. You love yourself more.
You got to remember.
I mean, my life.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I
My
just see
life.
it a little
Okay.
different.
I think it's okay to forgive and let go. You can forgive someone, you know,
You
like,
can
hey,
forgive and you can forget.
yeah,
Never
like
gonna
forget about
Never
them.
gonna
Yeah,
forget.
Forget you
like
exist.
Never
no,
gonna
we
forget.
forgive, but we don't forget.
No.
That's true. Like we
No,
can
I-
forgive
Forgiveness
the
is.
person.
Isn't
I
that what it's saying
forgave.
in the Bible, SB? That forgiveness
Yeah.
is to forget. Isn't that what it says?
That's what she said. Yeah, that's what.
I mean, you're
Mostly.
forgetting that episode. You're forgetting what happened. That doesn't mean that you need to be involved.
No.
It doesn't
Right.
doesn't mean that you're just not bringing it up every time you see that person. It's like if I was, getting into arguments or trying to see in a certain way the person that I was in this abusive relationship. Come on, we have a child together.
Yeah.
He
I
brings
just
his
always-
child. He brings his child around my daughter, and he's her little brother, and he's welcome. I have never, ever shown it. I forgave him with all my heart, and I don't remember things that happened at that moment in that time.
You have
I
a
really
beautiful
forgave
heart.
him. I fed him when he said, "Hey, do you have something to eat?" Yes. Can I get some water? Yes. I forgave him.
Mm-mm.
But you know what?
Mm-mm.
It is that's what I'm saying. It's a different mindset. It's like when you really forgive, you can really forget. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm saying when you really do it from your heart, you can do it.
You can't get a hand.
My heart forgets that you exist. So
Because you do it for yourself. When you forgive
You
somebody,
asking
you
me
do it
for
for
water
yourself.
could
It's
just
a
never
it's a peace of mind. It gives you a peace of mind. That's it. I cannot explain
It
it.
is for yourself, but I also think that
Yeah.
sometimes I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just adding. I think it is for yourself, but also there's a fine line between being loyal and stupid.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
you just up here just stuck on stupid. You're not even loyal no more. You just there.
That's
So
why
I
you tell
think
people.
that's sometimes.
That's why you tell people you either respect my presence or respect my distance. So if you can't, respect that person's parameters and things like that, and you go do something violate that, it's for your safety. It's best to stay out that way because you can't get a cup of piss from me. I'm good. Stay over there.
Let me say this really quick. I often think about people who have been in the military and have been in war and different things, and then they come home and they're trying to fit back into society. And guess what, guys? SB is never desperate. You need to get it right. But I think about them and how we just supposed to leave them? I mean, because it's not about us. For whatever reason that they are losing their mental capacity and whatever, it's not about us. It's not like we have an argument and then they decide to come at us. It's not about that. It's a real thing that's going on. And I just don't think we should leave these people. I don't think we should be like, oh God, he did this, and we should just abandon them. I just think that if I would do it for somebody, if Ronan's been in the military, if I saw something in Ronan, I would help Ronan. I wouldn't just abandon him, and I definitely wouldn't do it. I wouldn't abandon my husband. So, but see, that's again, this society just so quick to abandon. So, because guess what? If I flip out, if something happened in my life that was so detrimental that I may not be able to handle it, I wouldn't want my husband to abandon me either. And y'all not being honest, because women have tried to stab men, run over them with cars, and vice versa for little of nothing. Yeah, penis cut out, all of that.
Whoa, slow down.
Thing is that I'm being consistent because I feel like even in those situations, those niggas stand as goofy.
No, I'm not saying no, that's true. I mean, if someone try to cut any of my body parts off, I'm gone. Like we are not reconciling.
No, but though, look though, going back to what SB said about the military situation, PTSD, things of that nature, and all that's very true. And the thing is, I would be on board if I didn't have to suffer the consequences of it. That's the risk. Like, I don't love you enough to suffer consequences that could cost me my life over something that I didn't do. That's my grievance with it. Now, again, that's not saying I'm not going to support you. It's just going to be from a distance.
Well, I agree with that.
But staying married no, marriage is over. Family and all of that, the kinship is over. But if you need a little money from a distance, hey man, you try to check in the rehab. I need about 600. Hey,
your cash app.
You gotta protect yourself.
As far as me being taking an active role, hands on. Nah, big dog. I got you. Don't worry about that. Is over.
No, I'm with that. There are family members I know that have issues, and you know what? I will support. I will send donations, and I will do all that. But you cannot move into my house.
It's just
no,
not
you can't. No, not if
You
they're
cannot move in here.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying it sounds like almost that y'all like. Well, for what my scenario, I'm not going to abandon. I'm going to make sure he gets what he needs. And I hopefully and pray that that never happens to me either, because I think that's how we look at this. We're saying to ourselves that I'm going to be good all my life. I don't think we even think about real issues. This is real stuff. This is real stuff that people deal with, and we don't really think about it. We always think that everything's going to be good. And when real stuff comes up, the first thing you do is you out. That don't work.
That's what I was saying. This generation now may have a different standard than your generation,
right?
So the standard of I'm about to, figure out what's wrong with them. They like, I don't have that much time to figure out, because the next time I figure out, it could cost me my life. Yeah. So at this point, I'd rather just take the L or see how they doing, and then maybe 10, I don't know, however many times, if we come back together, if that's what is working, then that's cool. But I think that goes back to the individual standard. If most people's standard is saying that this is my cap, if you have a mental issue that can cause you to spaz out on me or my children or our children or my mom, your mom, anything like that, that is a lot to ask, because now that's a different responsibility. Even if it was, I'm finding out you have drugs, now I got to deal with you spazzing out and you on drugs. That's a lot.
Well, it is a lot. I agree. It's a whole lot. It is. I agree. But that's kind of what comes with marriage, though.
Well, just to your point, Lucky and Trill, the thing is, like, even the things I deal with in the military, I take it upon myself to go get those checkups, schedule things like that. And then even let personal trainers, things like that, know this is what I'm doing, for the sense of transparency, things like that. That's my responsibility. And talk to people, let them know what's going on, keep them in the loop. But to sit there and just let things slide and like, well, they'll love me through that. No, you have to show that level of love for yourself with that person. Because again, that once you violate that level of trust, it's very hard to repair that, if at all.
Yeah, man. I think also just going back to the standards thing. I think me distancing myself is more for your convenience than it is mine. because how again, I've said on this panel before, I'm extremely vindictive. So if something like that happens, like I believe in like doubling the violation. That's how I operate. That's how I've always operated my whole life. You know, as anybody who ever knew me, like I don't take to that kind of stuff lightly, because I feel like I'm so solid of a dude. Just like you said, if we saying it like we can't be on the internet. If I ever did something like that, I wouldn't want you to stay with me. Like right. Walk, and I don't blame you. I get it, because if it's me in a situation, I'm doing the same thing. I would not expect anything from you that I'm not giving. That's how I'm cut. I'm extremely logical in that. I'm extremely black and white in that. But like I said, it's family and things of that nature, and I'm extremely vindictive. And us staying in close contact like that is just not going to end well. And it's not out of fear for myself. It's fear of how I'm going to react if something like that happens.
Yeah. Eventually, humans will evolve. So it's like, you want to keep doing this, you want to keep talking shit. All right, so let's talk shit. And I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? Like, when eventually the person's just gonna start reciprocating in some kind of way, or responding somehow,
It's no longer
man. We're supposed to be family. But that's neither here nor there. Let's pay these bills and we'll get to this next one.
That's another show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show right there. SB done got my blood pressure.
You
not James St. Patrick.
You talked about the setup. I didn't say nothing about the setup. I was talking about mental illness.
The whole time Trill was talking, I'm like, he really ghosts.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
A good person too.
He's not ghost. He's Tommy.
Damn.
I just
no,
don't like the disloyal stuff, man. Like, I just want people to move solid, bro. Like, when people don't move solid, it just rubs me the wrong way, bro. Yeah. It just does. Like, it cuts me deeply to where I can't let it go. You know how most people like, oh man, just let it go, man. That's just how certain people. I can't let it go, especially if I'm the one that got violated. Like, it's
your bridges.
Is it just people personally, or just in general?
Period.
Period.
He's
So,
no
like,
Tariq. He's no Tariq. Okay. When
No.
he see Lauren, it's on sight.
hey man, prayers to all parties involved. But Marcus too, he said I meant dope. Sorry, not big dog. We already got you, but you already know I got you. Jay Prince in the building, the fireball. If I'm not willing to be loyal to my own mess, you know damn well I wouldn't be loyal to anyone else's mess. Loyalty could make you look stupid.
Big facts.
That is a fact. Goes back to what I said about loyalty is not free. There are
Jay
costs
Prince.
involved. No way around it. Jay Prince again with the fireball. If I'm not willing to be
What was
loyal to my
that?
own, oh, bro, just sent the same message again. Appreciate you. Queen Sheba in the building. 20 ball. So she just sending love from business travels, man. So she gonna be back next week. Appreciate you, Queen. Jay Prince, the fireball. Women isn't the only ones that are victims in abusive relationships. Men are too. A woman's mouth could be very mentally abusive. That is a fact. Lord have mercy, some of y'all. Woo!
I have never heard that as a diagnosis for a mental illness.
Because it's accepted in society, most cases. We're told to suck it up.
Sadly, it is.
We're told to suck it up. So.
Marcus, too, by being loyal to a fault is dangerous to me anyway. Nah, to me too, Marcus. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. Marcus, you say, listen, what's my woman or wife show me what she can do crazy? We done. And I mean done.
Done.
I agree.
I mean, what kind of crazy we talking? Yeah.
Hey, anything bodily, police got to be called. Physical bodily injury is a possibility.
I'm just kidding.
Where my boy Smooth? My boy Smooth at? Something to think about. Fireball. Who cares about the reason? All it takes is a slip up. Then someone gone. Marriage doesn't give you the excuse to act up and demand that they stay. I agree with that. Marcus, so I agree with you, Trill. Look, man, God is working on me, man. I pray to God that I can be as better myself and
forgiving, Trill, forgiving.
I don't even know what that looked like.
He said God is working on him.
God has a lot of work on you.
Yeah, he got a lot of work to do. And
he not done yet. He ain't done.
Me and God got kind of a understanding. Being as though he made me this way. Right? we have a bit of an understanding.
You finna put that on God?
Right. I'm like, oh, did he? Really?
You gotta end it well.
Of all things, is that not what the Bible say?
You say it again though. Of all things.
How you asking us? He working on you,
right?
You included mental illness, all things.
God also said, pray every day that you are in your right mind.
Tell him, Caleb.
I pray every day, but it
tell him. And that's on God.
On God.
With leadership comes responsibility. The man upstairs got to take credit for that. Amars, the fireball. First a screwdriver, now a pistol. Hey, Ronan, please write a book. I'll buy it.
It's many versions of it, so yeah.
Look, Marcus say sorry to hear that, Ronan. Damn, man. My boy was in a whole situation, man. Marcus, so I hear you say it about forgiveness and all, but there's some things that I can't forgive. I agree.
Yep.
L. Nixon, the voice of reason to fireball, as a retired military, if it means your life, no, protect yourself. Unless they're in a mental psychosis, they're still held accountable. No excuses. There we have it, man. All right, man. If y'all enjoying the conversation, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We're gonna get into the next line of questioning that we got. I appreciate everybody for pulling up on us. All right, we broached the question kind of briefly in the discussion we was just having. The line between loyalty and being stupid. I am extremely interested in hearing y'all's responses. Where does that line lie between loyalty and being stupid? We're gonna start with who ain't went first? No, all y'all don't went first. All right, then. Well, in that case, then we back to you didn't?
Ricky didn't.
Nah, he did go first one time. I think. Like she tried to throw Ricky.
Ricky.
Go ahead, Rick. You can dive in up first.
I think I said it before. Like when there's no benefit in it for you. Mm-hmm. When all the traffic one way, that's stupid. It's stupid. I ain't got no whole bunch of soliloquies and back talk to it. Like if it don't benefit you, it's stupid. At the end of the day, that's all I got. Ain't nothing fancy about it.
SB.
Well, again, I considered marriage is a definite benefit. So I'm loyal, like I just said, unless there's something like y'all said, I'm gonna separate if there's death looming or something of that nature. But divorce, I don't know. So you don't want to be stupid. You don't want to think that somebody's acting out. You want to take it seriously. And if there's an issue, you do want to go to safety. But to me, that would be the ultimate. That would be the end right there. My loyalty goes to about that far. But I got to support the person, though. I got to support my husband, make sure he's good.
I respect it. Oh, the line between loyalty and stupidity. What is the lie?
When it compromises your integrity. That's it. That's all.
So wait a minute. So if the police was after you, just say you were married, and the police was after you, and they came to your house, you wouldn't expect your wife to hide you?
Absolutely.
That's integrity, my friend.
Now
Good
she-
answer.
Her integrity says that
now she's gonna be charged with interfering with an investigation.
Integrity
was
is doing the right thing, even when
she didn't
somebody's
compromise.
watching.
She didn't compromise my integrity. In that situation, she was being loyal and doing what she could do to
She's
get me out
being
of the
loyal
situation.
to herself.
By trying to help me.
No, I'm
She's
just
being loyal to herself.
The plausible deniability. I know nothing.
Listen, I would hide my man, but I'll make sure he got down there. But we'll get us a lawyer first. But he not here. I don't even know who y'all talking about.
Right.
So,
I have no idea.
First of all, where's your
what
warrant?
y'all are talking about? I don't
Where's
know.
your warrant? You can't just be coming up in here. Get off my door.
Yeah, that's right. But
Where's the warrant?
but that's an integrity issue. She just gave away all her integrity by doing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, now if she just if they came to the house and she said he back there in the room, would you feel better about her?
Damn.
You see, both are wrong, whatever way you look at it.
The first one was not wrong. That's what she's supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying. The first
But
one.
what if they actually no. The thing is that what if, because obviously if they don't have a warrant, that's a no-brainer. They can't just come in your house. But if they have a warrant for his arrest or a subpoena for him and you know where he is, what are you gonna do?
Ate in the bed.
That's exactly right. Look, we ate in the bed.
Right there in the
Stevie
closet.
Wonder.
I don't know.
Stevie Wonder.
Well, imagine they're ready to. He's getting arrested, and you know the reason why.
Y'all know some men.
I still don't know where he is. When you find him on your own cognizant, good luck to you. But I don't know.
But that's also why it's so important for dudes who out here moving like that to keep your family out of that. Yeah. So me personally, in my mindset, I feel like I would never put my wife in that type of situation. If we're gonna be honest. And if that was to happen, the police kicking the door, whatever the case may be. Now, of course, I ain't got to tell her that, but she's just gonna be like, well, I don't know what's going on. What are y'all doing here? Like she ain't giving up no intel, but I'm not gonna put her in a position to risk her livelihood. I don't think no grown man is gonna put their woman in that type of position, or shouldn't. Let me rephrase, because some of y'all be throwing pistols in y'all chick purse and all type of shit. But that's another conversation for the other day. But I feel like a grown man, it ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna take it to the chin. She could be involved, and if we get caught, I did it. I did all of it. I forced her to do it. It's on me. That's how it is.
That's leadership.
That's why you got to be married, so that you don't have to so that you can't legally testify or even be involved.
You don't have to
That's why you
testify
got to have your
against your name.
paperwork right.
That's exactly right.
Girlfriends.
And guess what? He may not be guilty. Just because the police knocking at your door don't mean he did it.
But you being married just automatically means you don't have to deal with it because you're his wife, and that's protected by the government.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So OT, are you still sticking with the
integrity
issue?
Run that scenario by me one more time.
Oh, they done made my boy backpedal. Hold on.
No. I'm just making sure I understood.
I'm just saying that you're not guilty of anything, but the police have come to your house and knocked on your door and your wife answered and they asking her for information, but she knows exactly where you at, but she says, I don't know who you talking about, and tell them nothing. And then later on, she gets you a lawyer. Yes, but her integrity was just compromised because she know exactly where you were.
I said my integrity. I said if it compromises my integrity.
Gotcha, you don't care about her integrity. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doing the right thing in that situation. Because if it was me, I would do the same. I don't know where she at.
But if they're one, don't they share integrity?
But your integrity would be not even putting her in that predicament by her really seriously not knowing where you are.
That depends on her standard. That's our standards. If he's with a woman that can say, bottom line, we rolling, that's their standard together. We can think whatever, but to her, she's not going against integrity if that's what she stand on.
But look though, she don't have to break her integrity, because let's get that scenario SB just gave. Let's say the police kicking the door. And they say,
I didn't never say kick, but somebody said I changed it. So if I did, okay, I didn't say they came to your house.
They came to your door and they got a warrant, so they're legally allowed to be in your spot.
All right, but look though, let's say that they didn't have a warrant, and they come to the door and ask her, "Hey, where's he at?" She could just not say nothing at all. I'm not obligated to answer your questions.
Ma'am, you're being real hostile right now. What's going on?
She gonna keep adding to this story, child.
Keep my mouth closed. You can't because then everyone body cams and shit too. You're gonna get me on camera lying. No, I ain't say. Don't say nothing.
SB, what would you do?
Oh, I ain't giving up my husband. No.
Okay.
You gonna lie?
I probably
knew he was in trouble. I would just not answer the door at all.
I probably wouldn't even I probably
wouldn't answer the door at all.
I wouldn't.
What if she knows that he's actually doing wrong things?
So you especially don't answer the door so that you don't have to.
Okay, so listen, the difference between being loyal and stupid. That's the question right there.
It would be stupid to answer the door.
She knows.
If I know he's guilty, she's saying if I know he's guilty, right? And I'm hiding him out.
That makes I'm being loyal to him when I know that he's doing things that he's not supposed to be doing. That's stupid.
But being loyal is not doing anything.
From what he's doing, though.
No, but Sayeda, just don't do anything. Like, just stay in bed. If they don't have a warrant, they'll go away. If they have a warrant, they'll break the door in. You can jump up from the bed. Oh my gosh! What?
How about you're disloyal the minute that you thinking, should I turn him in? That tells you where you stand.
But not only that, Sarah, even
I should have turned him in the moment that I find out that he's doing something wrong. That's
what?
You gonna turn your man in? No, that ain't how you listen. That ain't what
turn him in. Like leave him.
Oh. No, you said it right. Clean it up.
No, not turn him in. I meant to say that leave him. Like
what I'm trying to say is,
hold on. Let me say.
Okay.
If he's selling drugs, for example, I'm totally against that. I am totally against that. And I know that he's doing that, and I realize and find out that he's doing that.
You should have left. You should have left a long time ago.
So
that takes me to
everything back that he bought you with the money. Would you give him everything back that he's purchased for you with the money, whether it be a ring?
If I didn't know that he's doing that,
no. Once you found out, and you found out this nice house and everything you got was by way of his illegal life.
That's
when you leave, are you taking some of the stuff, or are you giving it back?
Dirty money, take it.
Okay.
Or you? No. Here's the question. Let's say y'all not married, and they subpoena you to court. Are you testifying against him?
Y'all crazy.
No, not my husband.
Sayeda?
Oh, he said not married. Oh, I ain't never thought about that.
Well,
what? You gonna tell it?
You gonna tell it on your man?
Is he my husband?
You can act like
he your man. He just your man.
He a good one.
He's doing wrong. He's doing something bad.
He a good one outside his illegal activity.
That changed a lot.
Is he doing illegal stuff?
You didn't know he was scamming. You didn't know he was scamming. You got this nice house.
Oh,
you know
that's a
he was
different
scamming.
story. Just enough to know.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
Okay.
If I am conscious, if I really know that he's doing illegal things, I am being stupid for staying and protecting, knowing that he's doing illegal things when I am not agreeing with that.
You're right.
So that right there makes me a fault, and I am witness for the illegal things that he's doing.
That actually made you stupid. That made you
It
stupid
makes me
too.
stupid. Exactly.
It did.
So if I didn't know,
I
if I had
need you
no
to be
idea, then
stupid for
at
your
the end of the day, they're gonna try to come after me and think that I was, involved too.
You are. You are
No.
involved because you spent the
I
money.
am definitely
That's
saying
right.
whatever I know.
That's right. You gonna tell it,
Yeah.
but you didn't tell it in the beginning. You a snitch.
Right.
That makes you a snitch. You in there spending the money and then you gonna
Hey.
tell it.
I am.
Hey,
If I
Standing
said
a crime
if
and
I
make her
didn't
witness.
know, if I
You're a snitch.
if I knew zero, if I had no idea what was going on, I will know what I know. This is what I know. I was living in that house. He said that he was working on this.
Wow.
I don't know this person.
I need my
You knew
wife.
that man didn't have no 9 to 5. You knew he was.
I need my wife to be like El
I'm saying if
Chapo
I
wife.
didn't know zero.
El
Right,
Chapo
right.
wife says she don't know a damn
Don't know
thing. Don't know where
nothing.
no money at. Don't ask me for nothing. I don't know
First of all,
nothing.
LT, where's my lawyer? You can't. I have the right to remain silent.
Silent.
That's the
Listen,
first
that's
thing
a
they tell you. The
that's a
fact that
benefit of
she's
being
talking
married.
And her right is to remain silent, but she about to let them do their job. You want first 48 on Sayela. She's
That's right. Sayada, you singing, right? The music gonna
Your
change
laws
on you
are
and
different
everything.
than ours. Your laws are totally different than ours.
No,
What you saying? What you mean? We can come over there and get away with something? What you mean by that?
No,
What you mean?
Sound like
How
she
is the
saying
laws
they
different?
laws different than ours is what she's saying.
Oh, okay.
They loyalty set up differently. We can be a witness. We can be a witness. We're not judged. We judging you low key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
You
man.
gonna tell it on us. You gonna spend the money, then go tell it.
Jesus
Baby,
Christ.
if you're hearing this, don't do nothing stupid. I'm telling you.
She look like she
If I
ready
am
to tell
not
right
proud
now.
of
Look.
you, if you're doing something that I don't feel proud of you, I'm gonna be very disappointed. And I'm going to
She
say
ready
I'm
to
very
tell right
disappointed.
now. Look
Right
at
now.
So
I stand on what I say.
You was the
This is-
tattletale in
you. The
class.
feds.
You not saying what I'm saying.
You was doing it in class.
Diana
telling
the
everybody,
op,
huh?
Yeah, you better start vetting real hard. Ask all the questions.
She
These
wearing
are
a
the
wire
things
right
that I
now.
will tolerate.
Right. Check her lingerie for the bug. Yo.
She wearing a wire.
So you gotta pat it down on the walk in. But all right, Saida, it's on you. Where's the line between being loyal and being
I thought it
stupid?
was her turn.
No, it was old turn. SB asked him a question, got us derailed.
Wow.
Wait a minute, what time is it?
Saida.
What time is it?
It is 12:16 Central.
Oh, it's showtime.
But yeah,
It's always my fault. I'm sorry.
always, every time, even when it ain't. I'm
I
still
know.
blaming SB. But yeah, Saida, where's the line for you between being loyal and being stupid? Where does that line lie?
Bedtime.
I'm not risking myself. I am protecting myself first. I'm not risking myself or my kids. I'm not. I'm standing. I'm not.
What did I miss?
I will do it even with my daughter. If one of my kids is doing something really bad, I don't know nothing. If I don't know nothing, I will talk to them and I will give them the benefit of the doubt. But my thing is like, and this is why I'm saying it, okay? I want you to understand. You heard that, Central America has a lot of gang members, right? There's a lot of mothers out there that say, oh, my son is innocent. He's not doing anything. My husband is innocent. He's not doing anything. Yeah, they were getting benefit from just keeping their mouth shut.
Right.
I am not willing to do that. And that's my point. I'm not willing to take any dirty money just to protect them. I'm not. And that's the reason why I'm saying it. So if it's risking me or my kids, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'd rather go back to work. No.
What did I miss? Because
Hey, there we have it. I mean, I ain't gonna have that.
Of how it works, or a scenario that I've seen a lot. People protecting people that are guilty just because they're getting benefits from it.
What money?
That makes you guilty.
What money? I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't understand. I don't understand what's hard about
hold on, let
not
me
knowing things.
There's gang members that were caught with $30,000 cash in their pockets.
And I know nothing.
Shit. Bye.
I'm merely a mother. I'm merely a mother trying to keep my child safe. I have no idea
Oh, this is hilarious. All right,
what it
look.
is that you speak of.
All right, all right. Look, it's on you. What is the line between being loyal and being stupid, man?
I think the line is anytime it compromises you. So like if I'm loyal to you, but then it starts to, man, I'm gonna say the first person to know you looking stupid is yourself. So once you start to tell yourself and give yourself excuses for the stuff that you're doing for this person, you definitely know you've crossed out of loyalty into stupidity. Especially if you have to keep hiding the fact that you look stupid. That means when your friends is asking you stuff, you making excuses. When they start saying, "Dang, didn't this happen?" and you giving lines that he didn't even say. "Oh yeah, he acting busy. Oh yeah, he did this." You're filling in the blanks for him. Now you're in stupid. You're no longer loyal. So I would say once it starts shrinking over to your side where you start to compromise yourself for that person, then you know you're not operating in loyalty anymore.
I would agree. Ronan, the line between loyalty and stupidity with a T.
Oh, number one, LCI, I was wearing a wire. Just want to let that be known. And the other two, I say when it comes to when you look in the mirror, you can't even look at yourself. You can't even respect yourself. People telling you the obvious, but you can't even lie to yourself anymore. That's when you know you're light years and stupid. And you need to get out of there. You're just in a one-sided relationship where you playing the fool and they getting all the benefits. That's where you got to draw the line.
There it is, Miss Kayla. Stupidity and loyalty. Okay, nah, she busy talking. Go, hold on. Oh, she good now. All right.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. The line between loyalty and stupidity with you. Where does it lie?
Um, I think the line comes where you valuing someone else over your own self-preservation. There are just certain things that are just to me standard when it comes to self-preservation. So once it starts to kind of bleed into that line, that's probably where it is for me. I think in a lot of situations, sometimes it's hard for people to imagine what things would be if things were different.
Mm.
And so it's hard to take a chance and to do something different or to remove yourself. But sometimes no action is the best action, and just remove yourself and just see what happens. But oftentimes, we want the validation of being loyal to someone and them saying, a lot of people also use that as like a test, or they'll say like, I want to see if you're loyal to me. Will you stay through? Will you hold me down through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, you know what I'm saying? And so that gets to the point where you're stupid because there's only so much to everything. So yeah, I think that's where the line is. Like, starts infringing on my self-preservation and my freedom or my health, or all these different things, and it's too much.
Okay. I think with me the line is when the seesaw is no longer even in terms of the loyalty. I go to hell with you if I got love for you. That's how I am. Like, and anybody who know me can tell you that. I've been around the same guys. You see these guys that you see on cruise season.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together since grade school. I'm 33, so I mean, you know what I'm saying. You do the math on that. Most friendships don't last that long, especially with a group as big as ours. But loyalty is everything. It's everything to me. But the second that seesaw tilts and it's not even no more, that's when it's stupidity, in my opinion. Because now the input is not the same. Now I'm trying to compensate for what you not doing or you not being loyal. Like, people make mistakes, sure. But even in the mistakes, there needs to be some loyalty in it. But a lot of times people will be showing you, hey, I ain't as invested, I ain't as dug in as you are. and you will still deal with them anyway. And that's something that I just cannot wrap my head around. I think the second that they show you that they're not as invested in whatever it is, relationship, friendship, business part, whatever, when they show you that they're not as dug in, as invested as you are, if you can't look at that person and know how they're gonna react when adversity comes, that's when it's stupidity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Simple and plain. All right, man. We're gonna pay some bills and we're gonna get to the next video, man. Money with the two ball. Say get back gang. Y'all know why I'm here though. Salute to Lucky. Appreciate you, fam. Biggin with the 10 ball. Hell no, I'm telling on Ricky, I'm telling on SB, on Trill, and twice on Ronan. As a matter of fact, everybody going down. See, man, y'all ain't loyal out here, man.
And I thought you was loyal too.
Jesus Christ, man. Marcus, the five ball. Damn, side, are you a snitch on your man? Look at her face. He said, you
I am not Walter White's wife. No.
Hey, homie, sleep with both eyes open.
And look what happened with her. No.
Valid. You say, Sayada, you say you cool and all, but we can't hang nowhere.
Good. That means that you're doing wrong things. So good. Let's not hang out. No.
Fantasy Island girl, what up? She say, don't let them shame you. I'm telling too. Hell no.
Surrounded by snitch.
Right, we already knew Fantasy Island girl was a snitch.
I know it's
Look like she about to tell.
He's not saying that he would.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for that.
If by chance, I just need to know you got me.
That's all.
Got the feds on speed dial.
Real.
Jesus Christ, man. Salute to Fantasy Island girl, man. Marcus too. I say Sayeda ain't loyal. Chris Brown voice. Damn. Sayeda say I'm not serving a day in jail.
Loyalty has a limit.
Oh no, I'm definitely not going to jail though.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Lucky said the same.
But I'm still not saying anything though. They're gonna have to put me like in contempt or something. But other than that, I don't.
Yeah,
I genuinely, seriously, I really just don't know.
Yeah, we said nothing about going to jail. We're not doing that.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not risking my life.
That's different.
Y'all ain't trying to go serve that little 3 to 5?
Hell no.
Look,
the year good behavior. What y'all talking about?
3 to 5.
18 months with good behavior.
Remember, Gilly the kid said that's how he knew his wife was a real one because she went in the time frame. Remember that? Remember y'all seen that interview? Oh, I knew she was the real one because on the first date, I act like I ain't had no money and I asked her to pay the check. And then 3 years later, I asked her to take a charge from me and she took it. You know, I'm just not real then. And that's what
you stabbed me because you.
Wow.
It's crazy. I ain't going to jail.
Not even locked down. Yeah.
All right. We was speaking a lot about why people would stay in a situation that's clearly not being beneficial to them. One of the things that was brought up was fear. We got fear starting over, fear of not being validated by their relationships. A lot of times that's a woman issue. But with that issue, I think is extremely important. I think women have way more pressure to stay in relationships than men do, because a lot of times a woman is validated by staying in her relationship. She's validated by having a man. She's validated by having a family, by having kids. A man could be single all his life. If he's a billionaire, he's looked at as a great man. He's a solid dude, man. He got to that bag when he was here. But a woman, she could be a millionaire, but if she's 45 and never been married and ain't having no kids, people gonna say, what the hell is wrong with her? You know what I'm saying? So there are different expectations, there are different requirements. And this clip that Sayed sent me kind of speaks to that. So we're gonna play it, and then I'm gonna get y'all take on the back and forth.
Why does it make a woman valuable just because she got wifed up? Why can I not just be single for forever? Why can I not just live my best life for forever? Why can I not be like the 50-year-old auntie who's taking trips?
Yeah, it sounds good on paper for you to think that way. Women derive their true happiness from children in a family and having a strong masculine male by their side. Men, we're different. We get our happiness from kids and leaving a legacy behind, but also we get our true happiness from being on our purpose, creating. Women create children, men create things. Everything that you're seeing, touching has all been created by men. Every person in this world has all been created by women. Make sense? So a man that's not creating anything is a man without purpose. Then he will experience depression, anxiety. He wouldn't have no direction in his life because he's not on his purpose. He's not creating. You get what I'm saying? So when you're 45 years old, been living your single life all these years, well, what did you create? What was your purpose? Yeah, you got a Gucci bag. Yeah, you slept with this nigga. You've been on that boat. You've been in that yacht. But you created nothing. You waited so long. All your eggs is gone. You can't have babies. So now you feel just like that dude that didn't create any resources, didn't create anything. So all human beings, men have a natural proclivity, it's in us to provide and protect and to create things. Women have a natural proclivity that's in them to nurture and create human beings, to create the next generation.
You got it.
Yeah. So.
Fear of leaving relationships. It's a very real thing. It's a lot of women, like I said, man, are staying in relationships because they feel like that relationship validates them. The relationship might be trash, but I got a man, I got a ring. Like when you see women insulting each other, that's one of the first things they bring up. I got a ring, I'm married. You ain't. You know what I'm saying? There is a sense of validation that comes with it. So I want y'all to speak to that, back and forth, man. We're gonna start with Kayla. I seen her making faces, so we're going right to her first.
But why? I think this is very interesting. I looked at the clip earlier. I genuinely believe that everybody isn't made to fulfill a certain thing based on their gender. I just don't believe that. I've seen a number of women that are just not maternal. I've seen a number of women that should not have children. And there are some women that's just not for them. And there's a good deal of people, of men in particular, that have mommy issues and things of that nature. And I think I said it to True earlier. I mean, she just never loved you properly because she never really wanted you. She just felt compelled to do so because that is something that's assigned for her to do per her gender. But just because that a person is a woman doesn't mean that they're mother quality or, qualified to be a mother. So I do think that I get the nature of things, but nature is off track and people have different types of upbringings that disqualify them, in my personal opinion, from certain duties and certain roles in life. I do think that overall, I see what he's saying and I hear what he's saying about men creating things and women creating humans. But I do think that a good deal of the issues that a lot of humans deal with is the lack of inclusion of that other parent in their upbringing. So while you're out creating things, you left a hole in your child, and that person grows up to fill that hole with toxicity. So I'm glad that those things are worked out for you and they're great, but it's breeding like people in mass that are toxic because of the lack of actual hands-on parenting and things of that nature and being involved in their child's life. I don't know. I think that both parents are essential in this narrative that like women are for kids and men, we're to be out here. And I know like all people that have children have a equal responsibility to be involved in their lives, in their upbringing, in their grooming. It's not just a woman's thing and that's her only role in life. I think that's very silly. Also, I wanted to speak to a lot of the people that fill in the gaps. I mean, there's a lot of people that can say they are the way they are where they are today because somebody in the neighborhood, because some teacher, because some counselor, because some auntie, because somebody that didn't have kids of their own that had the time, energy, and effort and put it into them because their parents weren't able to be there and to do that for them. And that's facts. I mean, so many stories that I know about people outside of the maternal parents that have been involved in that person in reaching success or removing themselves from impoverishment. So I think that different people have different purposes. I don't think that there's any one purpose because of gender. And I stand on that.
So just real quick for clarity, do you feel like a woman can truly being in all caps, be successful without a family?
I do. You're born into a family when you're born. You're born into family. You have a family. You know, what you do with that is up to you. There's aunties and uncles that are involved. There's aunties and uncles that I don't know, never met, or haven't since I was born, and they see me at the sip and see. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe that you know that that a woman will never find purpose or happiness if she doesn't have a family. I just don't believe that.
All right, well said, Ronan. Can a woman truly being in all caps, be successful without a family?
I think it's a great deal of responsibility to help sire a legacy, especially like make good use of your life and your time. But if she understands what she is besides a potential mother or even an aunt or whatnot, because some, I agree with Kayla, which must be a full moon out, but there are some women who are not meant to raise children. They're meant to nurture, but some aren't meant to raise children. I don't think some should be married. But if she actually is about family, if she's about being that elder to sit there and pass on a lot of things for, especially for the young women or something like that, I definitely believe there's a great joy in that. If she's growing to be built it like that, but in most cases, especially in this generation, it's thoughts on steroids, unfortunately.
All right, man. Look, so you heard what the young man had to say in the video. Something to the liking of a woman's purpose. It's family. Like, do you agree with that? Can a woman truly be successful without that?
I think success is, we like to say it's subjective, but the first thing we think about is achievements. So if you have not achieved certain things that you deem as being successful, then no, she hasn't. But we see a lot of single women who do reach achievements. They still feel successful, maybe not in the area of love or romance, but they still feel successful, because without anything, I've heard my whole life, somebody can take anything from you, but they can't take your degree. They can't take your accomplishments. They can't. So that's something that people would deem as success, something that can't nobody take away. But he did make it seem as though men are just out here creating. I get his point, but I also hear a lot of men that say, once you create that and you get to that level, who am I going to share it with? That we are both male and female, created in pairs. We're created to be together. We are designed to socialize and be and mate with each other. That's why when this whole COVID thing happened, a lot of people was fighting depression, being by themselves and realizing that they're with somebody that they don't even want to be next to. So I think definitely they could have been successful people. You know what I'm saying? But by the time they get in a relationship, they realize this relationship is not successful. So yeah, I'm successful without you. And sometimes people reach higher success once they get rid of somebody. So I think that success is based on the achievements. And if you with the wrong person, no, she didn't reach success, even if she has a family with them. So I think it's not a gender thing. I think it's a people thing.
Well said. Saira, can a woman truly be successful without a family?
So
Successful
I think
and
it's more
happy.
So I think it's a feeling that you have. You can think that you're successful. I think Ronnie his mic is open, right? I think a person can feel successful, or a woman can feel successful, and that nobody can take that away from them. It, like Lucky said, is the achievement. The way I will put it is this way: whatever way you decide to go, there's consequences. So just like he said, you can. He actually said you can be single and feel successful. You can. He didn't say you cannot. He said you can. But what I've seen is that a lot of these women are crying in their 40s, regretting, saying, oh, now I don't have this, or I wish I would have done this first, or they're complaining in a way. Now they have to buy plants and animals because the nurturing part is coming out. That's a fact. So I would say you have total right to decide what you want, because you can do it. But whatever choice you decide to go, it will bring consequences, and you got to think about those consequences. So if you decided to go with your career and pursue money and all this, think about where that can take you. And if you don't, reach everything along the way, don't feel guilty. Don't make other people feel guilty for your decisions. Don't try to blame other people for your decisions because you decided to go on that route. So when men don't take you when you're 40, don't blame them. Don't blame others for your decisions. So just think about the consequences. That's all I would say.
All right, well said. Oh, successful, happiness. A lot of times these things are tied to family when it comes to women. Do you agree with that notion?
I don't think a woman needs to have a family in order to be successful. I just think that kind of, when she's getting married and start having kids, that kind of just completes the process. I think for most people's goals, I think is to get married and to, have a family. But no, she could definitely be successful without that. And similar to what Rona was saying, I mean, she could be, like, let's say, for example, if she working in the community, she working with youth, she touching lives every day. And I think one thing with some people just in general is the ones, especially the ones that don't have kids, I think they don't mind spending time with other people's kids because they don't have to deal with them. They deal with them for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, and they get to go back home by themselves. So I think some people just get, gratification just doing that in different areas. So you can still be successful. You can still do things in your community and give back and, all type of stuff. So no, you don't necessarily have to have a family to be successful.
All right, that's B. Purpose, happiness. Can those things, be in a woman's future without that family dynamic? Is it possible?
Well, let me say it like this. If the woman learns that her purpose is that she doesn't want a child or can't have a child, but she makes her purpose whatever her creator has said to do. Now, this is not tied into a career. Your job is not your purpose because jobs come and go. But if she purposely does, she can have a family. You can create your family. What I mean by that, it's like what OT said. It could be people in a neighborhood. If she's feels like that is a certain amount of success, she can definitely be happy with that. But the problem comes in is, can she find success in that? Because if a woman is not getting married and she's not able to have kids or don't want kids, then God should be her purpose. Now, beyond that, if she decides to indulge in sexual relationships with men or what have you, then she will not be happy. She won't. You can't confuse the two lives. It's kind of like you either want one or the other. Now, you may say that you're happy when you achieve your monetary goals or what have you, find the man that you want. But if you don't marry him and you don't have kids, then you won't be happy. You'll be missing and lacking something in that area. But if you decide that you don't want kids or you can't have kids and you devote your life to what the creator has said for you to do, then you can be happy. So.
All right. Rick, purpose, happiness. Can a woman reach those things without the family dynamic?
Her, my belief is, even though a lot of women say with their mouth that they don't want kids, eventually they all do. Even the ones who can't have kids. What's their biggest gripe? I can't have kids. Right? So how am I look at it? Right. So again, success, that's a personal goal. That's something that you see as success, right? Right. If a dude's homeless and he finally get a studio apartment, he will see himself as successful, correct? Right. He made it better than what it was. But as far as a woman, I really don't think women are truly happy until they have a family. They could have all the trinkets in the world. They could have the cars, what everybody deems financial success, socially accepted, a debutante, whatever you name it, right? But they're never a woman's never truly happy until she has a family. What they tell us. right? The happiest day of my life is when I had my child. They can't tell you. A woman that had a child can't tell you of a more beautiful time in her life, even though the pain and everything that sucked and associated with it, right? It was the most beautiful time. Right? Now, if that's something you choose to go against your nature, then I applaud you. I applaud you. Do what you do. Right? But it's still you going against your nature. So can she, hey man, anything's possible. I mean, you can float in the sky you can float in the sky on a balloon. You know what I'm saying? If the temperature, if the conditions is right. You know what I'm saying? But in real life, nah. I mean, you can lie to yourself. You can lie to you all day. I don't care. It don't make me no different. That's all I got.
Man. Damn, it's tough, man, because I'm not a woman, so it's hard to speak to what would validate them. But I mean, I agree with what Ricky said though. Every woman that I know that has kids, they speak about their kids glowingly. Like you can literally look at Instagram as soon as they had a kid, you see 30 pictures of the kid on Instagram. She didn't stop posting herself. You can't tell who Instagram page it is, hers or little TJ that she keep posting down the timeline. First day of school outfits, all that shit, the Halloween costumes, all that. It's just full of pictures of TJ all the way up and down the timeline. So, I mean, just in my limited knowledge in terms of the psyche of a woman, I would think that that's necessary to be truly fulfilled. But it's a tough thing to say because certain women just can't have kids, and it's not any fault of their own. You know what I'm saying? So. Can they be successful? Sure. It's teachers that, teachers I know been teaching 40 years. Salute to Miss Spain. 40, 50 years. She say, my students are my kids. I get a brand new batch every year that I get to mold and influence and get a game to and all that stuff. And she right. We used to have real conversations in that class. You know what I'm saying? It was a history class, but she used to pull me to the side because she always seen something in me. She's one of the ones told me that I was gonna do big things or I was gonna be famous and stuff like that. I used to just look at it and just laugh. But yeah, she used to give me that raw, stuff that wasn't in the textbook. Pride in our culture and you got a purpose. You got to be successful. You got a lot of people depending on you from a cultural perspective. Like it's enough of us that ain't doing what we supposed to be doing. Blah blah blah. Like give me that game that a parent would give. So, am I to say that she not successful just because she couldn't have kids herself? You know what I'm saying? So it's a shaky slope in that regard. But in my opinion, I think purpose and success is tied to influence. So if you can influence people, then I feel like that's success. That's purpose. For a while, I was looking for my own purpose. And I tried a lot of different things. I'm good at a lot of different things, but none of it ever brought me like fulfillment, like helping people or influencing people to like change their mindset and do more productive things. That's why I love this podcast so much. It's because it's people literally hanging on our every word and making real life decisions based on what it is that we say. It's a sense of pride that come with it. It's a sense of fulfillment that come with that. That type of influence. It kind of makes you be a bit more responsible when you talking, like doing your due diligence, not just getting up here just saying shit, because you have influence over people. And I feel like that's purpose. That's success. Because they got men who can't have kids either. So like, does that make him less of a man because he can't extend his legacy or whatever? You know what I'm saying? It's just circumstances just kind of dictate that, man. But true happiness, which I hate to ride this gray area. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know how I am. I'm black or white. I hate gray. But in this scenario, circumstances kind of dictate what your purpose and what your happiness is. But if I had to just give a universal thing that I feel like can apply to most people, I think it's the ability to influence. Because even people that can have kids, they take pride in influencing their kids to be successful. People who can't have kids, they take pride in influencing, the little homies in the neighborhood or my little cousin or my nephews and nieces making sure they got what they need, making sure that I, you know, be that male influence that maybe that they daddy not, you know what I'm saying? Because they daddy may not be in a picture or whatever the case may, or vice versa. So, you know, I feel like as long as you have influence and you influence people to do, you know, positive things or things that are productive or things that's going to advance them and advance society, and I feel like that's success. And women can do that who don't have families. So
do you guys think that it sounds like you're saying success is being fulfilled, it's being happy? Do you not know any successful people that may not be happy or fulfilled?
Say it again.
I'm saying it sounds like you guys are equating success with happiness and fulfillment. So I'm asking, do you guys know of any successful people that aren't happy or necessarily fulfilled in every aspect of their life? Because when I think of success, I think of results. How do you know you're successful at something unless the response that you put out and you receive what you've sown told you that you're successful at it?
I say yes. I know plenty of people who got money, but they're not happy. Yeah. They feel empty inside. Like they at the top of their career, they successful as hell, but it's just something missing. It's a lack of fulfillment. I was that way for a while. Like when you grow up broke, man, you be feeling like money gonna solve everything. I get this money, I'm good. I ain't shit. I get that foreign I always wanted. I get that big ass house I always wanted to build from the ground. I'm good. I don't need nothing else. And then you get it. And it's like
the house costs maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is it. Like I thought it was gonna be, you know, rainbows and roses. I thought I was gonna be just chest out, full of air, like it. And that don't do it. But you know what does do it? When I get a DM from somebody who say, "Man, I was thinking about killing myself yesterday," but you know, I seen that clip you put out, and that was some of the realest stuff I ever heard, and that right there gave me, you know, the energy to go on. Or I watched y'all podcast and y'all had me crying, laughing, bro. I was thinking about ending it all, but just watching y'all, you know, y'all talking about whatever y'all was talking about, you know, brought joy to me. That shit feel better than anything that I've ever accomplished put together in terms of material accolades. So, you know, again, success is kind of relative, you know, but in my opinion, I think it's tied to influence for everybody in one way or another.
Well, now I guess I was kind of I see what y'all saying and stuff like that, but I guess that goes against the video clip because he made it seem like men, as long as they're creating, they're happy. We cool with that. We've serving our purpose. But you could create a lot of things where you wouldn't have gotten that feedback. It wasn't until you got that feedback, well, now I found my purpose because I feel fulfilled. That doesn't mean that you weren't successful before that, but that just means that you finding your purpose means happiness. The way he put it is though women are the only ones that can't be fulfilled if they aren't with the family, with the husband. Men create. So as long as we're creating, we don't need that family. We don't need those response from people that's saying this. That's kind of like what it sounded like in the video. The way he preferenced it is, oh, we built this, we built this. Yeah, we can say the man invented the light bulb. The people who invented this, yeah, he did that. So therefore he's fulfilled in his life. He didn't need a wife. He didn't need nothing. But we see repeatedly people who reach those levels, they want to share it with people. They will give all of that up for somebody.
But the reason why men create most of the things is for the comfortability of women. They do it for women.
And that's what I was gonna say is that I think that even the people that are saying whatever they're saying about why men do what they do, I mean, or men create, where the women go, the culture goes. Women have the buying power in the country. Women are the one that make the decisions because men want their women to be happy, so they go with what they want. So it's really a delusion in men's mind. I get that, you know, you guys definitely build bridges. I'm here for it. I'm not doing it. I'm here for it, right? But ultimately, women are the ones that, again, where women go, the culture goes. Where that's just how it is. So I think that that's probably a misconception.
And I totally agree with that. That's why I keep telling y'all ladies, quit lying about what's really going on out in these streets. Men move for y'all, and I'm sick of this rhetoric. Like that's not the case. It's just the facts of the matter. Even if it's from a kind of shallow distance, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At the end of it, the game is the game. And try to touch on what Lucky was saying, right? So as far as the men creating, right? I don't think he meant. I can't say what he meant because I'm not that man. But my interpretation, right, is that when they say men create, that's what they do as a whole, right? So let me explain. So men create. So like even in negative standpoints, men create things, right? So the same way he used the example of, okay, he put a baby in her, right? But you see these men out here creating kids and not taking care of them. That's still creation.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see dudes creating businesses and or scammers or different scams or different hacks or whatever have you, right? They create things in that form of fashion, right? So again, I think it's really about how it's used. And that's kind of like what Trills was saying, right? It's really about how you use it to accomplish what your purpose is, right? To accomplish what your purpose. Now, I don't agree with him on the lady stuff because he said happiness, right? Purpose and happiness are two different things, right? I think most women aren't happy at the end of the day once they get up in age, and if they haven't had a child. I believe every woman, that's whether they're able to make a child or not, I think they'll be happy once they make a family, right? I'm not saying that they can't go serve a purpose. They can't, like I said, they can go out there and serve a purpose, whatever they, hey, ain't nobody stepping on no woman head. Whatever you want to be, go out there and be it, right? Go be it, right? But what I'm saying, as far as them being truly happy in a situation, right? Think of it like this. This is how I think of it. Think of a woman who's fertile, right? And she wants a baby, and she's in a relationship with a man that can't make no kids.
Mm-hmm.
How that gonna look? How that gonna look?
She could use another man's purpose.
I'm gone. I do like you though.
No,
I do.
see, but like I said, I look at it the microcosm, because we talk about relationships, right? But that every day, that'd be somebody walking on eggshells in that house.
Yeah.
Especially if it's to the time where her clock is ticking and she really want a baby, right? So that's why I'm saying happiness. But that's, if we talking about purpose, that's something more concrete, right? But happiness is a mental state, as we know, that can change from day to day and person to person. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with Rick. And to your question, Lucky, it's like there's people who do have the material stuff, but then like they have family members that they can't afford to even be around. And it's like, what point is it to have all that money and just basically be in the house by yourself, feel like you're alone? So even though I don't have children, I do think about it. I find fulfillment and having an impact in doing things that I do. Doing things that I didn't think I could do, but people point those things out to me. That's what you could find a level of success or fulfillment in that, because the happiness, that's fleeting. But if you actually see that you're making a difference in other people's lives, especially in your own, that's what's important. You know, so people get caught up in that whole happiness thing, but you know, that's you basically chasing your tail. But you gotta remember, you gotta figure out how you want to be remembered with this finite time we have.
I do think God creates people though for certain purposes, that just, there are people that are just meant to be in the gaps because that's just where God created them to be.
Yeah.
And that's just that. It's a lot of times where people will see, or they'll even feel like, damn, you know, I didn't do what I wanted to do, and then go on to do other things and see so much happiness and purpose in that other thing that God had for them, where they were so hard fighting for what they wanted versus what God wanted for them. And that happens a lot too. So
because the purpose,
what I've seen is that
the creator, and then you have some people's purpose is to serve someone else's purpose. A lot of people want to be the creator when their purpose is to serve, in my opinion.
Some people are not allowed to have children unless they nurture the inner child within themselves.
But even in
that's ego though. Imagine if there's people that really want to have kids, they cannot have kids, and they are, you know, we can't change that. That's, you know, their nature. We can't change that, but they're totally against adopting, totally against about sharing the love, because they're just, you know, their ego says, no, I'm not going to give all this to someone that is not my blood. And what if that was your purpose, but you're just close-minded?
But even with kids though, it's a duty. It's not like that creator thing. You're not really a creator. God did that. He's giving you the domain to manage said thing, but this human being does not belong to you. You've been given a duty, and the dominion over them to raise them, to manage them, blah, 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 blah. But then they are going to leave you and go on to have their own life. So even that whole I'm a creator, you're God's giving you authority to manage something he created. Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. Because there's a lot of parents out there that think their kids should do what they think because I made you and all this stuff. Like
that's a whole other show.
That's another show.
I agree.
So,
oh no, go ahead, look.
You had the thumbnail. Nobody brought it up. I thought y'all were. So, did you guys see The Best Man?
Yeah.
The series, the new series.
Yeah. Okay. So Harper was definitely on his purpose. He definitely was fulfilling things. He was successful. Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. Jordan. She felt the way. I was gonna call her Sanaa. She felt the way. And then she also had her separate purpose. She was being unfulfilled, serving him. So she wanted that support. He was still successful when she left. He no longer had his family, but he was not happy. How would y'all view that situation? Would you say he lost a sense of success because his marriage failed?
Wait, I thought Jordan was the one that he always wanted. That was just his friend.
Yeah. That's Nia.
And they never...
That's why I was just gonna say.
No, that was Jordan. That was Jordan.
Yeah,
Nia.
That was Jordan.
Nia. Right. Jordan was Nia, right?
Sanaa Lathan. What was her name?
Robin.
Robin. Then yeah, same name, same situation. Would you say that he lost a sense of success because he lost that marriage, even though he was very successful?
He would say he wasn't successful because he didn't have everything he wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even when he had everything, he still wanted that house in that area, remember? Or all of that. He still felt like they needed more. And she was like, I don't want that house. I don't care about that house. And he was like, we need this house. Remember?
That's why it's called chasing success, because you will never catch.
And love requires sacrifice.
Yeah, and I think like sometimes you gotta bump your head, man. I was watching a clip earlier where a dude was kind of similar to the scenario you just brought up with Harper. He chasing things, constantly getting to that bag, traveling. It was a white dude. I can't remember who said that to me. Might have been but yeah, he was talking about, he was traveling again to go on a business trip, and he was on a plane, and he got a call, and he answered the phone. He was like, what's going on? He said, man, your wife in the hospital. And he was like, so, of course, he go to the airport, get his ticket, and basically do a U-turn as soon as he get off the plane to try to come back. And he said the whole time, and he getting on the plane, he getting updates from her dad, saying, "Hey man, I don't know if she gonna make it, bro. You're gonna have to hurry up and get out. This might be the last time that you can see her." Now, mind you, this man's wife. They've been together since he was, since they was young, and he done always been a go-getter. He out there chasing his purpose, creating things of that nature. And getting to that bag. What he say the whole ride home, he say every minute felt like an hour. And then he finally got the plane landed back to the place where his wife was in, and he got a text, and they were saying, "Hey, he say he couldn't remember exactly what it said, but it was to the tune of it don't look good. So hurry up and basically come say your last words." Now,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, now he ended up getting to the hospital, and the doctors was able to save her. But he said at that point was when he realized everything that he was chasing, everything that he was trying to create, all the money that he was trying to go get, none of that shit mattered at all. The only thing that he could think about is, damn, my wife is about to be gone. And I'm out here chasing some shit that don't mean that we already got a decent amount of money already. I'm out here just doing extra. This is excess. And I'm in my head, it's like I need this. And I don't. I need my wife. I need our family. I need what it is that we building. And he said it took him almost losing her to realize that. So in that Harper situation, if you ask, is he happy even though he's successful? Hell no. And I think at this point, if he could trade all that success to get Jordan and to get his kids and get his family back, he'd do it in a heartbeat. But unfortunately for him, it's a bit too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of remind me of Candy Burris currently. Like they keep saying how rich you want to get, but now her husband, she's even helped him get some money, level up. Some people be obsessed with the level one. I always hear once you make 100,000 on your own, the rest is so easy. So you just on this wave and you just want to make an unlimited amount. So I would say they're successful, but I just off the conversation, it seems like you could lose the happiness by chasing success.
But that's an example, though. Another example, though, Lucky, of women that want legacy, but like aren't really interested. Not speaking on her specifically, but just some things that some people have said. That's another example of women that want legacy, but don't really want to be mothers. Like they want to have kids. They want to be able to say, I have kids. My kid speaks Japanese. My kid, does all, because her son does speak Japanese, does all these things, blah, 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 blah. But they're not there day to day. They're not there. It's
their manager.
Right. It's the nanny. It's the manager. It's someone else that's actually doing the raising. They have no interest in that. They have no maternal.
That's true.
Like pull to that. So not all women are like, like, and there's a lot of men that have mommy issues because she never just felt that way towards you, and that's tragic,
So,
but did y'all see that? Did y'all see that TikTok video here earlier this week where they were having a press conference, and I don't know his position. He was maybe just a moderator. I'm not sure, but he was starting off the press conference, and he said that his wife just died.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they told him, okay, wait a minute. She just died. And he was like, are you sure you want to go on with this? He says, yeah, I can't do nothing about that. I have to work. And they said, do you want to talk about it? And he was like, do I not have time? I would love to fall out right now in tears and grieve my wife, but I have work to do. I have my what do you say? I'm obligated to the president to get this done.
He killed his wife.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ricky. Are you serious?
Ricky, don't say anything else. They be watching these things. I'm just saying.
He said my wife just died, and they were like, all the people, the news outlets was like, hey, wait a minute, stop. What are you saying? He was like, yes, I did. They was like, do you want to talk about it? He was like, I don't have time to talk about it. He was talking just like this. And he said, I don't have time to grieve. I would love to fall out right now and just cry and get over that, but I can't right now. I'm obligated to the president to do this. They were just like, what? He stunned everybody. Everybody was like, this can't be real. But he was so serious. He said she just died. He says nothing I can do about it.
Maybe she was on her deathbed for like a year and he knew it was coming. It got to be something like that, because there's no way.
Okay, they said his name is Jeffrey Woodland. Yeah. I don't know. It was crazy.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's I say, man. It's just, bro, like that. That's why, as a man, like you got to find some kind of balance, and that's why I hate a lot of the sentiment that be going on a lot of these panels. They make it seem like money is everything, man. Chase the bag, chase the bag, chase the bag, chase the bag. What is the point of having a bag if I lose everything that I love in everything I'm trying to build in the process of going to get it? I get to the finish line. I got a big ass bag of money, but my wife is gone. My kids can't stand me or don't know me. Was it worth it?
They love the money. That's their God.
I literally got into a little spat with a girl.
The money is their God. The money is their God.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, he was the engineer. And she was chastising another girl about leaving him because he was the engineer. And the girl was saying, but he was just a workaholic. He never spent any time with me. He worked on weekends. He wouldn't open up to me emotionally, blah, blah, blah. And she was just going in on her about, all you women say you want a man that can provide. And I'm just like, girl, there's levels, okay? Like,
but that's what
money isn't everything. You don't see this man, you don't talk. What kind of relationship is that? You don't see him, you don't talk
about provision. It's not just financial. We're talking about the other things, the intangibles. That's why you got people who just haunt a house rather than inhabit a house. That's the difference between a house and a home. Are you treating your people like assets or accessories? And it's going to show in how you move.
It show up in the kids too, because a lot of the times if they have parents that's always busy, especially in impressionable age, I want you to come here. Yeah, you got me in this private school. You pay for these sports that you don't even show up to. Now I'm acting out because what good is me being in here? What good is me getting good grades if my dad or my mom's never there? So you do create resentment in your own family, and you start feeling like everything I worked for it to be able, so y'all don't have to ask or want for nothing. I might as well have been just gave you a regular life. At least I would have had more time with you. And then it's kind of like what Trill just said. I'm sure he was thinking on his way home, I'm chasing all this. How much time did I really spend with my wife this week, this month? this whatever. Did I laugh at it? You know what I'm saying? How many times did I really just hop on a plane or get in the car and left her upset? No, so
it's like I said, the very thing that they push and teach us that will make your family better is the very thing that take you away from family.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why most people become entrepreneurs, because every high paying job in America requires a high level of time and energy, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours for the majority of those.
Requires the same amount of hours, if
more.
not more.
But it's said that eventually the business will get to a point where it'll run itself.
You're buying
right, and you can have that free time, at least those years vested. Now you can have free time. But if you're a doctor, you work in the ER. I mean, listen, please don't stop doing that. We need y'all. We need y'all. So I'm not coming at y'all.
That's why you use it as a stepping stone. So then you have those physicians that get to a point where they have practices, and then you hire other people so that you can be part-time. You know, if you out here at a certain level, let's say you starting off in your 20s, 30s is looking good, and you start reaching, you still have to start positioning your life to be able to be at home, because if you're reaching those levels and you still struggling with the success part like you was in the beginning, and this 10 years later, maybe you need to redirect some stuff. Maybe you need to use your career as a stepping stone to get somewhere else. Maybe I need to create a side hustle that makes this amount of money so I can start to pull away from my job. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just planning that comes into play.
And truth be told, isn't that the struggle love people said they're trying to avoid?
No, that's not what we said, Ronan.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you look at it, it's like it's in context. Because like you got people who pay for a high-end prison. They got a house, they just happen to inhibit. You know, all I know is I lay here. I'm next to this strange person I happen to know somewhat. Our family isn't what what we're supposed to be. So yeah, we got these nice things on the outside, but we don't have shit in the inside. That's why I said if you talking about struggle love, that's a whole other side of it. Yeah, you can. And I have family members who do that. Yeah, they try to put this mask up like it's cool, like when the people are around, but you can tell there's contempt there.
Sure.
It ain't love. It ain't love for each other. It's love for the money.
But you have to remember, there's a lot of people in those same situations that are broke.
Yeah,
that are doing that same shit broke. So they think in their mind,
they ain't loyal to you.
At least I have some health insurance.
Yeah.
Shit.
Right. They loyal to the money. They ain't loyal to the person.
That's it. All right, man. We're gonna answer one more question, but this is the thing. I need it answered in one sentence. Okay. One sentence, literally. Thumbnail. At what point is it time to call a relationship quits? At what point is it time to walk away? We done gave a bunch of different scenarios and issues that people run into in relationships and things of that nature. So if you had to put it in a nice bow for anybody watching who may be dealing with a situation that they feel like, damn, man, I don't know whether I should stay. I don't know whether I should leave. If you had to give them some quick advice on at what point is it time to walk, marriage or otherwise. And we're going to start with Kayla first. Because she looked the sleepiest.
Yeah, I do have to run. But what I will say is I think it's time to call it quits when being with them still feels like being by yourself. I mean, then it's just done. When being with them is bringing you more harm than helping you. Period.
Beautifully said.
I love
Rick,
you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. We're going to tap in with you next week, of course.
All right. See y'all next week.
All right. Rick, if you had to answer in one sentence, when is it time to walk? Marriage or otherwise?
Marriage? Boy. Marriage? It's better or for worse, my friend. I understand y'all. Y'all like to take the words and use the way y'all want to. I understand. But it's for better or for worse. But in a marriage, for real though, when the respect is gone, it's time to leave. When the respect is gone, it's time to get at look. When a person don't respect you, anything can happen. And it's usually the worst case scenario of everything. Because they just don't look at the hat. No one cares. You don't care, they don't care, right? And I can only look at it from my side as a man, right? Because disrespect don't bode well with me. Lord knows, like, I know we supposed to be stoic, but hey, don't let me get in my feelings about being disrespected. It's gonna get real ugly for me involved too, because I'm gonna go and turn myself into the sheriff's station. Right. So when that disrespect going, man, just cut your losses, bro. Cut your losses. Ladies, hey, whatever y'all want to do, it's whatever. I mean, law is built for y'all anyway. So whenever y'all want to make an excuse, just go ahead and leave. You know what I'm saying? Whenever y'all want to make an excuse, man. As far as the fellas, man, like I said, man, once that respect is gone, man, it's a wrap, dog. It's over. Call it one. Call it Christmas. That's all I got.
Beautifully said. SB, at what point?
Death.
Death.
She said death.
Yeah. One word.
Hey.
Nobody walks away.
Damn.
She said none of y'all getting out this relationship alive. It's not happening.
For life. I'm like Ricky Dad, the devil do us part. Come on, y'all.
Over my dead body.
Yeah, welcome to Death Row.
Welcome to Death Row. Shout out
I
to
need her
Dirk.
to get that sound clip. My man.
You're live.
All right.
But if I had to, yeah. But if I had to really, really say something, I guess if the abusive thing, if we couldn't get a handle on that, that would be the reason to call it quits. Honestly.
That's valid. Oh, at what point is it time to pack it up and walk away, man?
I mean, I'm gonna say it's a different variation, but I would just say when the trust is gone. When the trust is gone, I mean, ain't nothing you could do at all. Nothing you could do to win that person back, because they mind gonna be made up 9 times out of 10, and anything you do down the line gonna always get questioned. You know, it ain't ever gonna be easy for you. So I would say when the trust gone.
I agree. Saida, at what point is it time to walk away?
Wow. It's very complicated. I think I agree with every single answer given to a certain extent, like, depending on the situation. But because I agree with Kayla, sometimes it's like you feel like you're by yourself. Like, it's better to be alone than being with someone that's not there. And that's a horrible feeling. Horrible feeling. I also been on the side of abusive things. I wouldn't tolerate that again. I wouldn't. And I will not ignore the signs again, because I take accountability on that. So I wouldn't let it go all the way. But I would say if my mental stability, emotional stability is at risk, I will not just give up, but I will say, hey, this is the way I'm feeling, look for help. And if I've done everything in my hands, to save it, and if nothing can be done, then I'll definitely leave.
All right. I respect it. Look, at what point?
Everybody says something longer than a sentence, but
always.
I'm gonna say, I would say when it starts to compromise with your standards, but the simple answer for me is when the things you did that once validate them no longer does it. If nothing you could do ever can make them happy, and if they're no longer trying, I think it's safe to quit, because you can't be in something by yourself. So when those things start getting old to them and there's nothing you could do to fix it because they checked out, you check out too.
It's valid. Ronan, take us home.
I definitely believe when the respect is gone, or that fire to fight for you or myself is extinguished, it's a wrap. Straight wrap.
Damn. I think it's time to walk away when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize who's looking back at you. A lot of relationships, man, we pour a lot into our partner, a lot. Sometimes so much so that we don't require the same to be poured in our cup, and then you look up and your cup is empty, and theirs is full, and then they walking, leaving you with an empty cup. So and by the end of that relationship, you done gained 70 pounds, you done lost some of your hair, you ain't even recognizable because you done just been trying to make the shit work and just stressing and stressing and stressing and stressing. And at the end of it, it's not worth that. So I think, it takes two to fight for something. It takes two, man. You can't fight by yourself. You in a relationship, fight by yourself. That's a waste of time, and that's a fight that you're never gonna win. Also, so yeah, if you look in that mirror and you stop recognizing the person looking back, that's when I done seen people in relationships. People be chill as hell. Dude get in a relationship now. It's police being called. He wrestling with his girl, all type of shit, or vice versa. That person done brought the worst side of you, done brought somebody you didn't even know was there. That's the type of shit that be going on. That's real life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will stay through that anyway, just to try to for some sense of loyalty, just try to make it work. Or that was just a bad night or a bad week. Nah, bro, you turn into a whole different person. That ain't you. It's time to move around. So that's how I summarize that. But again, man, I appreciate everybody for pulling up on us, man. We got a couple super chats to read, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Marcus, the fireball, great answers from everyone. Shocking. Just kidding. I appreciate it, big dog. Cynthia with the 20 balls said, my personal wish is for everyone to find love and make beautiful babies. But unfortunately, we look down on women who haven't done so. Ultimately, I think success is based on one's own determination, not society's. I agree with that. OG with another 20 ball. So a successful life to me is measured by what regrets I leave behind when I'm gone. I won't regret not skydiving or building up a fortune, but I will regret not building a family, man or woman. We're here to build families.
Yeah.
Well said.
Should be.
Yeah. Cynthia, again with the fireball, we need to stop placing such burdens on women. An old single man isn't necessarily a good look either. I'm sure it gets lonely either way. I agree. Marcus, the fireball, this was a great show tonight. Said, I know snitching unless you have to. Just playing. Lucky kisses. Good night. I appreciate it. Jeffrey with the fireball warning. Do not, I repeat, do not disrespect Ricky. If you do, I'll be at your funeral telling you I told you so.
I don't do well with disrespect. I just don't. So, and like I said, this the new me. I'm glad y'all don't know the old me.
May God help you.
Facts. Sheldon, what up, boy? With the fireball, just showing love, family. Appreciate you, big dog, always. But yeah, on that note, man, we're gonna wrap this thing up and get the hell up out of here. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for pulling up, man. Appreciate the nation in the building. These amazing panelists we have up here as well. Y'all already know that. And we're gonna be back at this thing again Friday for Crew and A. Pardon me, last Friday we ran into some technical difficulties, but we got everything sorted out. So we should be good, should be in line for Friday, man. I look forward to seeing y'all there. I appreciate it. Anybody got any announcements before we go? Anything they want to shout out? Oh, y'all good? All right. On that note, man, we up out of here. Oh wait, hold on. Queen Leah with the 20 ball. Hold on. Let me get the sound effects going. Just showing love. I appreciate it, Queen. Appreciate you. But yeah, on that note, man, we're gonna get the hell up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. See y'all next time. We gone.